influence and all his experience, and I think he's found some gems here with Marcelius and Truth specifically. So I'm really impressed with this team, but I don't think it's going to be enough. They're going to really have to impress me on Nuke for them to make a run here and get to Dust 2, but I'm going to have a spot of 2-0 script.
All right, well, there you go. Bet odds on your screen. Shout out to our partner, but there ain't no time to be giving you all the low down because we're rushing straight in here. Patsy gonna open up. Grush and Dennis though standing strong, and there he is. Dennis the pistol master. He has to reload eventually, but surely has done enough. He has indeed. APEKS will take the pistol, and a fairly clean one as well to boot. ESPADA trying to come in with some speed, come in with some disrespect like we talked about, and it does not work at all.
What'd I tell you?
Look at this, dude.
The best pistol player in the world. He had another shot. Dexter's dead too. Not a problem. Not a worry in my mind. Really well done from Dennis there, especially in a spot that a lot of people consider one and done, right? In towards dark. Especially when they're dropping in from above you. He hangs on. He stands tall. Straight into the armor M4. He's a baller. He's playing towards outer yard, but he has to be careful. That scout has tagged him, and he's going to have to back up. That shot from Sophic must have been insane. A wallbang headshot on Dennis. Akez, last line of defense towards outside, and the 4 spies so far, cutting them down. Someone's going to grab Dennis's M4. They'll be a happy camper. But ESPADA, take you outside, try to frag out, and instead they are just going to feed the MP9 of Truth. I like the approach. They do drop 2, but now they have to save, and the guns of APEKS have made some moolah. Or should I pull out my Duncan again? Some Skrilla. And then provocative word after.
Like he's in the room, mate.
Duncan? Oh. No, he's not in the call.
Like a ghost. In and out.
He'd be like the ghost of Christmas past, though. Like the grumpy one, you know?
Definitely. I mean, it works. The ghost of esports past, right? The esports historian. Maybe we're onto something here sometime, you know.
That could be a good short film, yeah.
Kenny S, you know, after he retires.
Wakes up with Duncan above his bed.
Yeah. Game still needs you, Kenny. You gotta come back.
You need to come back. Guardian's opping again. Like something like that.
Dennis on a triple here. Oh, and Finnegan not aware of the fact that they'd pushed outside at all. Nice and easy and clean from APEKS there. No sweat off their brow, really. No one going down. So they've built up a decent amount of bank here. Could lose this round. They're going to go for a cheeky bonus as well with the FAMAS and the MP9 still in play. ESPADA, meanwhile, everything available to them. Looks wonderful. Full AKs. No AWP for either side just yet. So I would imagine we will see it coming out on that CT side eventually, but like I say, APEKS just hoping to hold on to their cash and make the most of what they have. The weaker weapons pushing forwards as well. I do like that idea. Dexter was ready for one, not the second. We'll see who that benefits in just a moment here. It looks like it is going to benefit the T side. They're taking these individual fights and now winning them. A 4-on-1 as Dima destroys Marcelius. Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Sophic destroying Dennis. And this is kind of what I was getting at a little bit. We see the rifles come in, we see the AKs come out, and the individual prowess is just huge. APEKS try and take the fight to ESPADA, and ESPADA are so ready.
How many 1v1s did you see that round, Scriv?
I want to say like 4 for sure.
At least.
Yeah, the kill at Hut was like a 2v1 trade, and then the rest of them I think were just like individual 1v1s that ESPADA forced.
Exactly what ESPADA want, right? Especially in a round like that where they know they're not upgrading. Catch them off guard, try to run them over. Truth is able to find Dexter, who's going to continuously take that Hut peek. Marcelius with his op, maybe gifted one on Finnegan. Beautiful jiggle. Marcelius now has to be cautious of outside as he'll fade back more than likely to heaven. Be that rotator guy right down through hell and towards L Hall to help ramp. And speak of the devil at ramp, Gruss. He'll catch Dima off with great timing. ESPADA, all of a sudden, 2 men down after such a dominant round, Scriv. APEKS are catching him off.
Oh, Gross caught in transition. That's awkward. could be the opening that they need towards this B bomb site, at least the control of ramp coming in. And they'll drop down. There is some quick rotations here from the CT side, so certainly not all the work being done yet, but a nice little smoke and a bit of spam through does give them control of the B site itself. The frags as yet to come in, the bomb as yet to be planted, and okay, I thought Patsy was going to go down there, but not the case. Now has to be careful that he doesn't get traded. Oh my goodness, Truth is on his tail. Yeah, Truth will drop him as well. 3 versus 2, bomb down, hits available, but positioning not fantastic here for the CT side. However, working off of their initial man advantage, right? They're sacrificing a couple bodies to find the info, but they are cleanly trading things out. Marcelius will find the final 2 frags, and APEKS straight back on the board.
Well, Dexter has his op. He's a menace with it at times. No, not Dennis the Menace. Just a regular menace. Those are 2 different versions of a menace. And ESPADA really want the first pick this go around. And just look at APEKS setup here, right? 1 site, 1 heaven, 1 second vent. And ESPADA, with no opening pick going away, the op not finding anything. They've counted the utility they've baited out. They're going to do the deep wall of smokes. This allows you to do 1 of 2 things. You can walk secret, sure. Or you walk close on the wall and contact all the way in garage. Or you can even walk in a mini if you're feeling brazen enough. But as the first garage smoke is going to start to fade here in a couple seconds, they're going to get into garage. But they're going to be met with quite a presence. They may even just run boost across. That's been a big thing where you run boost across where Softfic's peeking and kind of surprise the op off. I think that's what Softfic wants Patsy to do. Yeah, I've seen them do this before. Really cool. Run boost across. Dennis is not the wiser. The push from Truth is beautiful, though, so that play is all for naught.
Kind of tough. It's a nice little tidbit for sure that they could pull out in future rounds, but like you say, it just doesn't work out. They get caught off by that extra push. However, Finnegan, Dexter, both going to chime in. We got a no-scope in from Dexter as he gets another at Decon. 3-on-1 for Gruss. Not looking good at all, as he will just go to save. They don't have the cash moving into the next round, so ESPADA in with the second, keeping things close and competitive. Once these rifles have come into play, they have looked much more comfortable. And they'll be kind of kicking themselves. It was a great 2K from Truth to turn the round in their favor, but they're just not able to capitalize. No other choices here either from the CT side. I guess they're just going to go all in, try and even out that economy. So ESPADA have got a really good chance of picking up a third, forcing an eco, and then evening things up. So really important round. If APEKS are able to steal this one away, ESPADA I think would be a bit annoyed with themselves.
Marcelius posted towards outside with this scout. Hopeful that he could find something. A tag, a headshot would be cool, right? Anything along those lines. And it'll be Dexter to get the first. Gruss still has that carried over AK. He's hoping he'll find something. And in through secret is going to be his approach. He'll clear all of outside, which means APEKS could stack up towards this A site, because it becomes a bit telegraphed at this point.
Nice spot from Truth. He does get melted, but I suppose finding any kind of damage is pretty nice here. Scout in a nasty angle as well. But they just don't quite have the manpower. Unless Gruss can be the hero. Smoked off for now and doesn't want to give his position away, even though the bomb being planted on the other side of the smoke. He will drop Dima. They know where he's at. He gets the second. Third is not quite as easy. But it's 2 versus 2 now. A much more doable situation. Sophic caught out in the open. They're both so low for Finnegan. And a great little smoke allows him to cross. They're going to have no idea that he's made it round. Tap comes in onto the bomb. A kit is available for Gruss, but Marcelius is the one that gets on it. Finnegan. Okay, does get it in the end. I was going to say he was in completely the wrong spot, but it's all good. He changes his angle, and he will take them down. A big 1 versus 2 clutch for ESPADA. It's still a hell of a lot closer than it really should have been.
Whew, that was hot, just like hell. Case, his logo. Fire. Malta V15. Check them out. Hundreds of cases. The case opening site. Esports tournament mode. Let me tell you, it is a ton of fun. So check it out in the banner below. They have allowed us to go weeks and weeks with more Counter-Strike action. They are awesome partners to have. And APEKS are in need of some fire themselves. ESPADA have broken their economy. They have a full buy. It's a save round for APEKS. If it all goes according to my calculations, which I've just done in my head, brackets, exponents, all that good stuff, even to the decimal place, I've done the math. It should be around for ESPADA.
Yeah, this one fairly simple. The last one kind of stressful, right? And we could see them doing damage and potentially taking it. I think APEKS get one of the better results in the previous round that they could have hoped for. But this one, nice and clean. No real difficulty for ESPADA at all. Yeah, this was a great moment from that previous round, to be fair. If we'd have found that third, I think they win it, but just not to be. And Sophic, although he doesn't find any frags, he did so much damage there, so again, maybe if they dealt with him a little quicker, right? Game of inches. Wonderful stuff coming in with the smokes here. I like the CT smoke to just kind of slow them down, make them hesitate a little bit. Marcelius able to find Sophic. There are so many bullets coming through, but Patsy capitalizes, catches him while they're reloading, while they're moving, and keeps things even. See what the response is, as Patsy has got a lot of outside control to work with, to be honest with you. Clearing so many angles, working it alone. I think gonna look to spread in from hell. Gruss is just spotted him, but loses the fight. Maybe needed a teammate or a bit of help or a flash or something. The responsive swing was not the play, and now ESPADA have got the advantage.
Man advantage for ESPADA, even though Patsy's limping. Truth. That's a fight he's got to win. And it's a full HP player as well, so that's really huge. He peeks right back into Dexter. That should facilitate some sort of plant. But APEKS is in here in a sneaky fashion. Dexter spots him. He'll peek. The flick is just off the mark. 25 seconds. This bomb has to get planted. Finnegan's waiting till it's safe, but here's the catch. It's never going to really be safe with APEKS alive around here. He's finally just going to trust his teammates at 14 seconds. Trying to be as little, make himself as small as he can. And get this bomb planted. It's bought in time for Marcelius to come down the vents with his teammate in APEKS. I think Dexter may get spammed out of this position. Or not.
Oh, a little, but not enough, right? Oh my goodness, Finnegan just destroys them. They were not expecting him there at all. Kind of a thrown together retake from APEKS. Not looking as clean as you would like. And of course, I mean, as you would expect, right? Both these teams far more prominent, about 60% each on the CT side in terms of rounds won. So think if ESPADA can get off to a nice start on the T side of things, they are in for a good time. 5 rounds already pretty decent. Looks like 6 is on the way. 7, maybe even 8, not out of the question. So APEKS pressure is on coming into these next few rifle rounds for sure. They have got a lot of work cut out for them. Oh, okay, that's a little awkward. Thought maybe Finnegan was going to go down there, actually.
Ooh, Grass. He'll take a seat and then fall off the chair quickly. Dima's gonna just double in towards ramp, and that will allow them to creep on down into ramp and just take the site. It's not much these pistols can do. It's a 6 for ESPADA no matter how you cut it, slice it, or dice it. How's that for cutting objectives?
Yeah, there's some nice culinary skills, I'm sure. You know?
I am an awful cook.
Oh.
And I mean, I don't even think I've made craft dinner in my life.
Fair enough.
The most I've made is like tuna. I've put a pizza in the oven.
Okay.
Does that count? I had to preheat the oven. It's kind of impressive.
Yeah.
I've made toast. I've made bacon and eggs, but like that's... I can barbecue, obviously, because manly. But like that's... Yeah.
It's just like you put... It's just hot.
It's just how it is.
Yeah. It's just put a thing on the hot and don't let it go black. Basically. Like barbecuing's not... I suppose maybe if you're marinating stuff when you're barbecuing, that's maybe where there's a bit of skill involved. I don't know. I can't really flame you because I'm not the best of cooks either. Not necessarily like, I just don't put the time in, I suppose, which it sounds like, you know, maybe what the case is with yourself. Do you know what I mean? Like, rather than burning things on repeat or whatever. Just like, stick to the simple stuff. I cook a mean pasta. You know? Put the ready-made sauce on it, dude. Whoa.
Yeah, true.
Real good.
More than I, Scriv. You're more talented than I. And in many ways, ESPADA looking to be a bit more dominant than others on nuke here as they work towards outer yard. They're pretty dead set on Dennis being in garage. I know he plays here a lot, and he basically has a bunk bed set up. But they do flush him out. I'm not sure what made Dennis peek. It's odd to me that he swung that wide. Untradeable. Maybe he was trying to bait for Marcelius, so Marcelius's pick can flourish and maybe find a couple. And that's just one you have to hit. Now you're in trouble. Now you have to retreat. And it's just bad news across the board. A trade is what ESPADA want. And they'll waltz into an A site with Gruss alone. Can Gruss hold it? Dima is not one for fairy tales. It'll be 7 for ESPADA, Scrib.
Yeah, not looking good, you know. APEKS early on, kind of keeping it close and competitive and whatnot, but they picked up the 1 rifle round, and since then it has fallen apart, and this is not good. 7 rounds, really decent result for ESPADA already on the T side. And as I was saying, the 8th, certainly not impossible, and it looks more and more likely with the fact that Marcelius is the only one left, and whether he survives is still a question. We're not quite sure of the answer. He does get 1. Might have to find another kill. It doesn't look like they're quite hunting him as intently. Someone goes down to the bomb. I don't know why they don't just throw themselves at that one, because I mean they have lots of cash, so they might as well have just charged into him. But either way, each to their own. No harm, no foul. It looks like unless he pops off with this AWP, there's not going to be an awful lot coming in this round, and ESPADA should be able to get the 8th.
Well, I'll have you know, I'm a big Marcelius fan, and if there's only one fan left in the world, it's me.
I can't remember the whole
meme?
thing. I know the meme that you're getting at. I can't remember.
Going, but that's all I got energy-wise. Marcelius, They're running through a molly of the ESPADA boys, and they're actually going to start to fall. There's my boy Marcelius, and they're cutting them down with the Deegs. A gap in the smoke, and they get slapped. It's Dexter alone. Not counting him out. But a little error, a little mistake from ESPADA. That's one of those rounds where just like in golf, or excuse me, just like in baseball, if someone makes a mistake and someone gets on base, you call that an error. I would consider that smoke an error, not necessarily a like forced mistake or a mistake they wanted to make, but an error that cost them a round. And ESPADA are going to be probably not the happiest campers about that.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure why we're going super fast. You know, you got plenty of time, plenty of money. I suppose you already have a decent number of rounds, but just take it a bit slower than that, maybe. But like you say, the key part of their game plan goes a bit awry. Then it's going to open up onto Patsy into this round. We do have a double up setup coming in from APEKS, already proving to be effective. And ESPADA have slowed way down. I think this is something that they are indeed going to struggle with on a map like Nuke for sure. Losing a man early, not trading it back, not gaining any ground for it. Truly net negative kill is very difficult to come back from. They don't seem to have too much of a game plan. Kez in a great position as well if they just walk into him. Dima has a bit of an idea. Ooh, and double checks the angle. I think the dink through the wall landed. So he is very lucky to be alive. And with that frag, they deem the A bomb site to be desirable. However, they're going to drop down the vents. So not fully committing indeed to the A site. Looking for B instead. Marcelius is already here. Marcelius is not missing. He drops 2, including the bomb. And they maybe bite off a bit more than they can chew there. Trying to rotate around real quick. Okay, Dexter will take down Marcelius. This suddenly gets a bit more interesting, but only 10 seconds. He's got to retrieve the bomb. Gonna go for the plant behind the silo. It is somewhat open to his teammate. They still have 3 more players to get through, and they're not aware of the flank either. Dennis finds the head of Dexter somehow, and now Sotfik is left with it all to do.
In the post plant, glass not broken. He's gonna creep, and Gruss will just remove him. He doesn't need any help. Wrap that one up. And APEKS are still clawing back. And on round 14, ESPADA already on 7 is decent. They have enough money for a full buy here and the next. APEKS are going to be a bit put through the test here. Both teams. It's awesome when you can end a half with full buy on full buy. That's really cool. That's seemingly what we're in store for. Marcelius just sprints into secret. That was a brazen run. And I'm not sure if Patsy spotted it or got a sound cue. Now they know. He is stuck and mollied. He'll smoke it and try to escape, probably awaiting the spray. Good utility usage there from Marcelius. But ESPADA doesn't really want to test outside anymore right now.
Grush the first one to open up. So yeah, it looks like APEKS are refinding their confidence. Looking good here towards the tail end of the first half. Is it going to be enough? Right, 8 rounds, the best that they can hope for. And even that's not quite guaranteed. Grush, though, looking for more. Really well done from him. Picks up a second. Does get traded back, but solid stuff. Oh, Dennis needed to be winning that fight. Patsy, as always, being a nuisance outside. He is left relatively low, so the 3-on-3 is not as clean, not as clear-cut as you would expect. Door opens. Truth going for the spray down, and Patsy catches him distracted. So well played by the ESPADA boys. Kez is still here with a nasty little off angle that they are not expecting at all. Drops the bomb. 30 seconds left. Molly down onto the bomb to hopefully buy time. That smoke is overshot ever so slightly. And Now they are really thrown for a loop. They know vaguely where Akez is, not really sure where this AWPer is, who's clearing all the angles. I think he might have rung off a shot, it looks like. Patsy has a great idea of where he's coming from, on top of the hut. Able to drop one, but is traded. Dexter needs to find this for ESPADA. He's trying his best to find the headshot. Meanwhile, Marcelius on the AWP. It's so awkward for him. Can't land anything right now. Dexter creeping in. Marcelius ready for it, though. And APEKS get their 7th. It is by the skin of their teeth, as it seems most of these rounds seem to be for the CT side, but all the same, they even things up.
It's been a good little string of rounds from APEKS here. Some big clutches, big retakes coming in from the APEKS boys. And then ESPADA just getting stalled out. I mean, look, they've already hit their number, so they're not too bothered. But if they can close this one out, walk away with a lead on this T side, I'm gonna be laughing all the way to the bank. Spot up. Utility towards outside. Going to be a little bit of a front, a little bit of a fake. They want someone to rotate down vents. They want them to drop it at Patsy. They hope they forget he's down there. But that's a free kill for AKES. And he's coming for more. Are they going to be ready for this? How do they let AKES get away with 2, Scriv? The gumption for AKES to just go for that, though.
Yeah, the absolute filth, bro. Absolute filth. Creep down towards B. Bruce is in a really good position here on the catwalk to stop them. Patsy feels confident that he's cleared most of the site just from this position, not seen anything just yet. Gruss moving ever so slightly, trying to hide away, trying to get the good timing. Does onto one, and the second. Gruss's position is key. Marcelius comes in from behind, catches them while they're distracted by him. Really well done from Gruss, and really well done from APEKS, to be honest, to bring things back to an even scenario. However, 7 rounds for ESPADA is still really good. And moving into their CT side, obviously more prominent on the CT side of things. And this is where we talk about the pound-for-pound matchup, the fragging power of ESPADA. I think across the board, you know, on average, they have more mechanical ability, and I think that's going to make them hard to get through from an attacking point of view. So we'll see. We will see. We're moving into the second half pistol pretty quickly here. And APEKS, of course, as we've said, need to be taking nuke. So their T side is going to have to be pretty damn good, actually.
Ooh. They're incoming to the A site. They're a man down. Can they trade out Patsy? Sure. But this player and Somfik and Lobby, it's going to be so hard to deal with. Big one coming in from Truth. Gets caught reloading. Somfik, a bullet or less away from death. Dima gets traded out. They still know Somfik's around here somewhere, but he's just dropping them all like flies. And it's Marcelius v Finnegan. And they're about to clash. Marcelius knows. Finnegan has the peek, and he has the headshot. ESPADA with a big CT-sided pistol. And if you're APEKS, you force here. You've gotten some money from kills, but no bomb plant. And if you save, you can get the AKs out in the next. I think APEKS strike me as the type of team that would save in this situation. Do some pistols and light soul searching. And then come in with the next. ESPADA, not ones for making money. The triple FAMAS, if APEKS be able to see that there's triple FAMAS, they're gonna be happy, because then it gives them confidence in 2 rifle rounds back to back that their buys will be superior.
Little labored outside here. There you are. Yeah, sticking around a bit too long. Dexter does go down. Deagle might find something here as well if they're not careful. Okay. Nice one onto Finnegan. Looking for more. I mean, Patsy is so low. Needs some help from the cavalry, to be honest. And now the Deagle moving in closer. Poorly timed reload, though. Still, headshots are always possible. Not this time. Sotfik creeping in will take him down. I mean, 2 kills, still pretty decent, right? ESPADA's economy going to feel that slightly. Especially because it's early on. See how the odds have shifted here, guys, with our betting partners over at LootBet. Pretty heavily in favor of ESPADA moving into the second half. So, APEKS, the experts, you and I, people in chat, I would imagine, they have their work cut out. Everybody recognizes that.
Yeah, definitely a lot of work for APEKS on this T side, but with their map pick, they gotta have something up their sleeve, and Dennis didn't count on taking that much damage to cross into secret, but he's there in the end, and now he's the one who has to make the moves, whether it be come back towards outside and try to work a pick with your low HP, go down and try to find a vent rotator. APEKS need a pick, Scriv. They're not set up for an execute. They're set up for a bit of an explode, but they don't even have flashes through the window. This is tough.
Oh, just charging in, bro. Sotfik able to get 2. Gruss and Akez chiming in, and now we have these rotations. Bomb's gone down. Dennis is really low. Dexter, creeping forward, just trying to find Akez as he moves into a safer spot. Will drop him eventually, maybe biting off a bit more than he can chew. Gruss down low, though, a tough angle to beat. However, they do it in one. And Dennis is outside, mollied off, doesn't want to give his position away. It is planted for him, and they kind of recognize this fact. Playing it chill. Peeks out, but he will get dropped pretty easily. Just too low to get anything done, unfortunately. And ESPADA, although it is kind of hard fought, they get the first rifle round on the board, get up to 10, and should be able to expand this lead a little bit.
Good timeout from APEKS. They're discussing, do we want to buy? Do we want to chase the CT money that has to be hurting with how much damage you've been able to inflict from pistols to rifles? Is it worth it? Well, based on what they're buying right now, it's looking like it is just going to be pistols. Some armor, a little bit of light utility bought up on the side of APEKS. And they're not going to go ahead and give chase. They'll fight with what they have. And I imagine with the bit of utility they have, it looks like it's going to be a wall of smokes, whether it be towards outside or an A set pieces with a smoke heaven and mini, and then save a couple for post plant, try to get the bomb down right. Make it brawly, close the distance on these players with rifles. And towards outside they'll go, Scriv. Eat a little bit of nade damage for their troubles. Here comes the cross smokes. And Patsy, well, he's going to spray away. I think they forgot one. So someone has to right-click a smoke for them to cross. Always awkward.
Never easy. Oh, the nade does a bit of damage. Could have done a lot if they'd have carried on moving there. Just trying to work their way in here. It's not going so hot. A lot of damage done onto Finnegan. Dima also got to be careful. Does eventually meet his end, but not after he... not before he finds 4, sorry. Patsy going to find the 5th. And no harm, no foul, really. They've got enough to drop Dima across. APEKS not really getting the result that they wanted. I would figure it would have been the overall goal to at the very least get the bomb down with that utility and whatnot in play.
Marcelius with Opscriv. I'm looking for him to find some damage, find some success. Quick towards outside, and they try to do it dry. They want to go quick. Marcelius at least trades. 7 HP for the Opper, but he has the bomb, and I don't think he's going to be able to cross. Oh, the Wild Truth. We'll find a player in towards A. And APEKS are caught between a rock and a hard place, right? You rotate down Secret, you don't know where you're going into. A site, you know you just found a pick. And with the Opper not peeking you, it's safe to assume he's either in hell or heaven. And how they want to approach this is all up to them. A smoke and a flash as they come out, or just double flash into mini. Demo will take contact, and then the op will post. Finnegan's on site, so ESPADA have all their numbers here. Can Finnegan hang on? Great flash. But he cannot capitalize on it. And with just Dima being alone, I think that's a smoke finally tossed towards heaven. I think we can just wrap this one up. And APEKS, the slow grind into this round. But it just takes a pick or two, and they group and go to a site. Very simplistic Counter-Strike. And they are just not giving those ego fights to ESPADA that they want.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair, right? We've talked about how ESPADA love the individual fights. It's what we saw very early on onto the T side, and APEKS, I think, towards the end of that first half, learning their lesson and able to pull some back. Now, I suppose employing those same teachings into the half here. There was an attempt at the defuse from Dima, but he is denied. Cheeky little lad that he is. And with that, there'll be no one surviving, of course, and probably going to have to half buy here on the ESPADA side. So, an opportunity for APEKS to close the gap as much as possible and really apply the pressure going into the next round. Very lightly buying here. Timeout actually coming in from APEKS as well. As we've said a few times now, but it is really important with the way that this series is panned out, or the veto has panned out, they need to be picking Nuke up. Because they don't really stand a chance moving into Mirage, I feel. I think it is a great map for ESPADA. And we have seen they've struggled to keep up with the individual prowess of this squad. So, Nuke is certainly a must. And then, you know, take it all the way down to Dust 2. And beat them there. But I'm not sure whether that's doable.
Yeah, I completely agree. Like, you gotta win your map pick, especially against ESPADA. You can't afford to let it slip. I'm just upgraded pistols here for the ESPADA guys. Truth. I look in 40 different directions, but still finds the kill that matters. Patsy, he feels like he's next up. Not sure how much he'll expect APEKS to be here. And the answer is no. Just 3 players remaining from ESPADA. They're going to stack up a little bit on the B site. And it's the right call, because it seems like APEKS are on their way down here. Doors will be open. He's going to try to bait and keep their attention towards Hotfik. Giving Dexter a chance with a Deagle 1. AK on his back, looking for one more shot. Just runs out of bullets and HP. He'll be laid to rest till the next round. And it's Finnegan alone. And if you look at the money for ESPADA, you know the op's coming out. Not a worry. And it's just wee old little Finnegan alone. Scriv, maybe he can get a gun. That'd be cool. Don't see it happening. APEKS will jump up to 10. And I think it's safe to say they've done more damage than perhaps I expected them to do, Scriv. Which, honestly, I feel like I say that a lot about APEKS. Every time I watch them play, like, I don't know. And then they make their games close. So, they have that going. They're the team that struggles to close games. They'll make them close, but closing them's another story.
Yeah, I mean, I think they have a lot of underdog power, you know, that people discredit them for. And I really do think that they play from that position pretty well, you know. The pressure slightly off, you know, not completely, but they're never really as stressed as maybe you expect them to be. And like I say, they look really good. They do look really good from time to time. Charging into the A-bomb site here. We do have Finnegan on top of the hut, but only good for one. They have been ripped apart by the speedy A hit. 3 on 2. And the 2 remaining players going to go to save in CT. So there you have it. APEKS, just like that, will even up the scoreline. 11-11 towards the tail end here. ESPADA are starting to shake ever so slightly. I think quite clearly They have, you know, I talked about that preparation and the fact that they kind of need to have done some work. And they have. They've quite clearly done some work, particularly on this T side. It's looking really, really dangerous.
APEKS are looking, as you said, dangerous. On the precipice of making ESPADA's nuke a little worrisome. Saving grace is the CT side, of course. And with the save guns this time. I appreciate ESPADA's timidness to not just dump their entire economy around an AWP and an M4 because they know they can buy it next. You see a lot of teams in this situation just buy because they're upset, they're rattled, they have the AWP, they feel like, okay, we can buy around this, it's an AWP, it's expensive, whatever. But I really admire ESPADA's calmness in the situation because it's definitely anything but calm at this moment.
Yeah. Completely agree. It is a smart economic decision to be taken, which again, teams, like you say, at this level, like ESPADA, the way that they approach the game conventionally, don't always make decisions like this. Clean one tap coming in, by the way. Apologies to talk over it. Dexter does get absolutely clapped. I thought I would, you know, continue the point. The B-bomb site overwhelmed completely. Coming in from behind. Coming in from the double doors. So, ESPADA, not a chance. I mean, we didn't give them much of a chance. However, they will be able to save the M4 again. So I guess there's that. And maybe one of these pistols wants to creep down secret and try and retrieve the AWP. But Dennis, of course, is the Guardian. Got a bit of assistance with him in the form of a Kez. They're going to go hunting, actually. Okay, and straight into his death. Not able to find anything. A Kez still holding down to make sure they cannot enter secret and can't even find that AK that they've just dropped. Okay, never mind. They will. Finnegan, I think, will now look to survive. Takes another with him. Does eventually go down. Keeping the economy modest, but APEKS probably by the time loss bonus stacks up and if they are consistently able to get bomb plants, even if they lose rounds, should be able to buy for the rest of the game, to be honest. So not terrible. Not terrible. I mean, it's nice, right? They get a bit of extra cash for the kills and confidence and whatnot. But in the grand scheme, it doesn't make too much of a difference. ESPADA, meanwhile, this round, incredibly important. APEKS have got them on the ropes. They win this one, they go up to 13. 14 probably comes nice and easy. And, well, charging into A once again, getting caught off guard by these clean headshots. Maybe not good enough. Finnegan, though, with a stroke of genius, just jumps down. Sotfik and Dima are in on the rotation. That is absolutely massive from ESPADA. I don't know. They just didn't expect him. He was on top of the hut. And he just jumps off, sprays two of them down. Hopefully we get to see this again.
Yeah, he just bails. He wins the first fight with the help of Sotfik. And then just drops mine 2-4-2. Really cool. That was just ESPADA fighting fire with fire. They said they want to come fight us nonstop, keep peeking all the time. Just everyone swing. Everyone started fighting. Everyone wanted beef. And they surely got it. And APEKS cash allowed them to get the ops and AKs, of course, back out. ESPADA's by, you can see, hurting a wee bit in the side of Finnegan. And again, these deep smokes from APEKS. There's a gap near garage, however, and Paxy's planning on taking full advantage of this. Dennis tries to cross, punished, and he'll just slip out in through credit card, away from the box, and Dexter is his Overwatch. ESPADA have woken up.
Another one coming in for Dima. Oh, Patsy outside dropping Gruss. Yeah, they are massively revitalized here. Demon's position known, Akez able to drop him, but he needs to find 4 more to go along with that, and now they know where he is. The blood in the water, Sotfik able to drop Akez. So relatively simple stuff from ESPADA, apparently. APEKS, or just about. I think they probably will look to a buy here. Akez not as much money, and this is what I said, like, they would indeed with the loss burners stacking up, and if they got bomb plants, if you remember, I did add that kind of caveat to buying for the rest of the game, but the bomb plants have not been coming as easily in these past couple, so they're now left in a tough spot. Pause being taken, I would imagine, to fully clear this decision, but also and primarily work out what they're going to do in the round, because with 4 of your players having enough to buy, I feel you've got to go for it, particularly this late in the game. At the same time, though, Akez on the Deagle, right? And he's been performing relatively well. Certainly not perfect in the way that Marcelius and Gruss have been all the way towards that top end. Meanwhile, on the other side of things, interesting in the sense that, you know, the fragging numbers are a little more spread, not quite as top-heavy from ESPADA. So what I was talking about with that CT side, on average, being maybe a bit too strong for APEKS is coming into play, particularly in the past few rounds.
Well, let's see if they're going to notice the importance of this round. Facilitate a bomb plant. Go for broke. Gruss, good trade on the Finnegan. The Oppedex are caught in the open. Sotfik up on the catwalk, tucked away, gets the first. Support is in from heaven. They know he's here, but they give him another chance. Just don't peek him anymore. They're gonna peek him together, and just one more bullet that would have found Stennis. That would have been it. But no, 13s is where we're gonna sit, and we're gonna continue the madness of buys, Scriv. Dexter will have his op, and both teams will empty their coffers. That's a word that hasn't been spoken 300 years. And we'll see how this goes.
Yeah, it's like those little bags everyone used to carry money in. So, before wallets and cash.
Exactly, yeah.
You know. Nice shot from Marcelius to open up. Actually getting aggressive there, opening squeaky and finding an early frag. Yeah, and the rest of them acting off of that. They've set this up beautifully. Wow. They will walk all over that site. Dexter has managed to drop the bomb on the backside, and you know, if there was a couple players left alive, or a couple more players, I should say, left alive, then maybe I would believe... Oh, Dima will capitalize. Able to get away as well. This is suddenly a bit more interesting. Almost getting caught off, and Truth needed to win that fight. That's a shame. He may well have been able to find it if he hadn't have indeed been caught. Meanwhile, Dexter going to try and move in for this 1v3. Takes down Dennis. It costs him so much HP, though. Surely not. Does have the smoke available. Not wanting to use it just yet. Drops Marcelius. Will find Truth. No, Truth has got him on the angle. Ready and prepared. It's awfully close, but APEKS up to 14.
Wow. I mean, Dexter, an absolute beast, but a big double up from APEKS to secure that round. Not wanting to give him those 1v1s, playing together and playing tradable. APEKS jump to 14. ESPADA are left with a step stool on 13. Not too far behind that they need to wear the man heels to catch up. I've been there, Scriv. You go to a club, stand on your tippy toes. Hey, it is what it is. No one's going to notice.
Okay. If you say so, sir.
Until you walk out of the place, and then you're like, fuck, my feet hurt. My feet hurt, Scriv.
They always be hurting.
Why my feet gotta hurt? I mean, it doesn't help that I'm flat-footed, Scriv. I'll tell you that much, though.
Yeah, I mean, same, kind of. I think I was really bad when I was young. I think it's gotten a bit better with the old insoles. Don't know if you ever...
Yep, expensive over here. I'll tell you what, though.
God bless the NHS, am I right? You know.
Yeah, never fair. But it helps a little bit. It gave me a bit of an Archie poo, but nothing that I'd be too ecstatic with. It's basically an artificial arch. Truth and Gruss, those aren't artificial kills, though, Scrove. They'll wrap it up. And it just D-Man Degster alone. Deagle, USP, and APEKS going to be up to 15. And damage doesn't really matter here in hindsight for ESPADA. And honestly, for them to play for OT is a more reserved ESPADA than I think we're used to seeing. Typically, we see them buy a lot and they're very aggressive, but I feel like this new timid ESPADA, I'm kind of like economy timid, not obviously playstyle timid, but they've really, over the last couple months, is matured the right word for Counter-Strike play?
Yeah, I guess so. I can see what you're talking about. I think it does apply. Either way, standing up against it here on the ESPADA side of things, like you say, certainly matured, looking better over the game in terms of the economic decisions, making the smart ones, not taking too many risks, playing for the overtime of their opponent's map pick, of course. And we did expect APEKS to have something in the back pocket, although coming into this second half, I have to say, with how close it was, definitely not all that confident in them. But their T side has proven me wrong slightly, at least for now. Whether it fully proves me wrong remains to be seen. Dexter's taking some early damage here, Keith, but other than that, not an awful lot of action in this round. Of course, no player wants to be the player to make the mistake. Gruss going to open up onto Dima meanwhile, and he just speeds up. Finnegan the next to fall. Sotfik cannot get anything done. Patsy's found a frag. Another, but he's the only one left. Dexter goes a bit wild up the ladder. Certainly a madman there. Patsy's got to ace it, though. He doesn't have any utility. He doesn't have a kit. Doesn't have no mates. Barely any information. Smoked out. They know, you know, where he's coming from. He's either coming from Mini or he's coming from Heaven. There is a chance, I suppose, that he's fully rotated around, but the odds of that fairly slim. So I feel it is all said and done. It is indeed. Akez's going to drop him 16-13. APEKS will find their map pick. The nuke out of left field. Little surprising, but they have clearly done the work on it, and it pays off.
Yeah, I'm not... I guess surprised would be the wrong word. I'm more impressed at the level in which we saw from APEKS, right? They're typically a team that gets a little rattled at times, and if they're losing those gunfights early, their bounce back potential perhaps isn't always there, but they looked really, really good. I felt like they were able to win those key pivotal moments and rounds with beefing up their utility, securing themselves good buys over and over again. And you could say the same about ESPADA. It just seems like APEKS hit that consistency stream a bit earlier. And we know the level of ESPADA. They just weren't able to, in the later parts of this game, like about halfway through, they stopped getting those 1v1s, right? They stopped getting those freebies. And it was constantly peeking into two members of APEKS, constantly getting traded. Their A hits were really nice on the T side. And I think their T side really capped it off beautifully.
Yeah, they had these really aggressive A plays that every now and then they would pull it out and it would just catch ESPADA completely off guard. And I think at the end there, when it was like 12-12, that was kind of the first move that they made to start pulling things back. So really, really, really good stuff from them. And like I said, they had to have had some prep done because ESPADA... Still, we did see individually they had some great moments and some nice step-ups and whatnot to win them some rounds. And you can see here, right, it's not like the APEKS boys had an individual flying Degster up there with Gruss with very, very similar stats. So, although a lot less headshots, there you go, Gruss hitting some crispy headshots, I suppose. But yeah, they looked pretty damn good on that T side. Like I said, during the game when it was coming to a close, I felt going into the second half that they just didn't have enough rounds to work with off their CT side. But not the case. Not the case. Hard work pays off. We'll be moving into Mirage next, which we have all said is going to be really difficult. There's a small chance, but I think with how close Nuke comes there, I don't think APEKS take this. But at the very least, they've gotten that kind of first tick on their win condition, which is indeed to win their own map pick. Yeah,
they got that security. So no matter what, unless barring some insane run from APEKS on Mirage, which I'm always for, we may need Dust too. But we're going to take a break. This isn't a Mirage, and when we come back, that's what we'll be. Howdy, partners. Welcome back to Malta Vibes. I hope everyone's doing well. My name's Keith LaFortune. Even though it says my Twitter's at Scrivcast, it's actually at Keith_LaFortune.
Yeah, I think.
But I'm always down to give Scriv free publicity. That's
the
cool
wrong
by
way,
me.
bro.
Yeah, that's cool. I mean, at least my name's there. I'll take what I can get. And map number 2, it's kind of the mentality that APEKS want. We'll take what we can get.
Yeah. I mean, that's a good way to set it up. To be honest with you, like, Nuke, a really good map. I think they've clearly done some work on their T side and everything, where usually they've been more prominent on their CT side of things, as you would expect. So the T side looked really good there, really well worked out. Some simple stuff, some more advanced stuff, and it's a so map for ESPADA. So a really nicely picked map actually that they've clearly done work on, and it plays into the matchup. Mirage, meanwhile, look, every team, as we always say, is going to have a Mirage. Every team's going to be comfortable on it, whether on an individual level because these players have played it for years, or whether actually on a squad level because you've just played so much of it because it is such a common map. However, ESPADA are really, really good at it, and you're not so good at it. So I feel that this is going to be, kind of a difficult one. Maybe the Passover map. I would imagine, though, APEKS feeling a bit confident after that first one, and not expecting to roll over or take this one cleanly. But there is certainly a chance they match ESPADA in the end, right? In terms of the firepower and all that stuff that we talked about being difficult for them to get through. It was close, but they do manage to take it over the line on Nuke. And I don't think it's impossible. I think it's going to be really, really tough, though. I still see ESPADA taking this one, and then Dust 2 could remain a bit more up in the air. I did give my prediction over to ESPADA in the end, but I think APEKS proving that they do have what it takes to compete at the very least. So Mirage will be interesting. I still think it's going to be such a hard map for them to be honest with you. Even if they get off to like a strong start, I think ESPADA have just got what it takes to clean things up easily here.
I mean, the difference between Nuke and Mirage is quite big. But the big thing that I think APEKS that led to their success is the way they approach the T side, right? Very grouped, very heavy pick early, but always doubled up, playing tradable, sticking to what works out of spawn, not getting too like lurky, not getting too out of their comfort zone. And I didn't give ESPADA much to play with. On Mirage, it's hard to play grouped because your hands are tied, right? When you're coming out of A ramp, it's hard to play very tradable because there's a lot of fallback angles, right? When you play A side Nuke, you're very committed to the rafters position. You're very committed to top hut. There's nowhere to really go. But here on Mirage, especially for ESPADA, right? You're going to throw Dexter with the op in CT spawn. He's going to pick one of you and then just fall back and live. It's going to be a different kind of game, a different sort of trade and heavy game for APEKS. And you can't just rely on set pieces. You need to lurk, right? You need to be able to default across the map. And ESPADA are going to be ego challenge you every chance they get, because it's just the way ESPADA are on this map. So a lot of risk for APEKS here, Script.
Yeah, definitely. But look, I don't know if they can come in a little carefree. Got the map in hand. Not expecting them to win this one. Maybe even they themselves not expecting them to win this. They could be unpredictable. They could play off of that confidence, and they could, just try and challenge, like you say, ESPADA at their own game. So I feel there is a world in which they win this, but maybe only like, one or two of the parallel universes, one or two of the timelines. So the logical choice is to go with ESPADA and to challenge the way that APEKS are going to be approaching this one. I mean, yeah, even though those odds are not wild, to be honest with you. Like, I expected them to be a bit worse for APEKS. So, yeah, the first map definitely playing into our betting partner there, LootBet, playing into their decision-making with providing the odds for map 2.
Well, here we go. APEKS, T side, smoke window early, gonna try to fight that connector player back in Sotvic. He's gonna just back up, give connector up. They're bursting through the smoke. You know what's happening. There goes the first Gruss to get the first opening kill. Dexter, can he double in? Yes, sirree. Time to get the reload and maybe fights back for more. His teammate is there in support and the other is in connector. With Gruss falling, Truth has to connect and he can't. Ake has alone and it's not for long. Dexter gets 3, Dima with 2, and ESPADA with a CT side pistol, already starting pretty hot. But that pistol showed that APEKS have some set protocols and strats set in place for this map. Quick connector pop is hard to pull off on pistols, and they do it with a bomb plant and 3 kills. That should facilitate a Galil buy. But again, APEKS aren't the type of team to go for it unless they're confident. We saw them last map not go for it, but they are this time. They can break out a couple AKs. They have players willing to sacrifice like Dennis and AKES. And that's all that matters. You have trust. And believe in your teammates, Scriv. It's worth going for it.
Absolutely. Yeah, this is an interesting buy across the board. Honestly, we have an AWP out early, right? And then, of course, the stronger weapons that APEKS have got available to them. A lot of chip damage coming in early on here. Oh, down goes Sophic. I think they tried to... No, there's a boost up over at CT. Dennis going to drop Dima, though. So, I mean, this boost is going to have to be super effective because the fringe players on this A bomb site have just been ripped apart. Bomb plant coming in. Can't spot it. Oh, and from behind, Marcelius gets the double. Oh no, it has fallen apart massively for ESPADA. Jeez, they have not done a single point of damage here. Patsy is going to move to save, but APEKS in with that, you know, T-side economy really working out for them. I suppose it's not their fault that that's the way that it goes. At the same time, though, ESPADA, it's not like their buy was terrible. They definitely should have been able to fight back a little better, I think.
They can lose a couple guns here in the hunt for Patsy. Surprised they're not running at them more. There's Truth. He'll catch him. And that is just brutal. That is exactly what APEKS needed to do. Trust in each other. And they pick the round up with the guns. Marcelius makes it sing. He'll give that back over to a teammate as a reward. And he'll take the op. ESPADA are broken. Probably will-wise and now buy-wise, Scriv. And that's just the tale of the tape for CTs, isn't it? You win pistol, and your next buy is equally, if not worse, to the Ts who can buy. A little bit of a B pop. Send AKES in first. If it's a stack, they back up. He's going to be the man leading the charge with his MP9. That's nasty. No follow-up. His teammates are taking their time with these AKs and rifles, and I thought that shot was hit by Dennis. Would have puked in my mouth. Thank you, Dennis, for not allowing me to puke in my mouth. That sounds weird out of context.
Just a bit.
Didn't mean it like that.
It's all right, mate.
I would never puke for you, Dennis. Let me just clarify that.
You just saved yourself from a very angry DM.
Yeah. What did you say? What? You wouldn't? Yeah.
Either way, the buy from ESPADA not as effective as their counterparts on the other side of things. Their force buy not working for them in the same way that it did for APEKS. The second round for the T side becomes very interesting early on here on the T side. As we've said, cannot underestimate them. APEKS certainly will have a Mirage available, will have, like you said, those set strats just immediately straight out of the gate looking good. So they do have to be somewhat aware of the fact, and it is one of the worst situations to be in as a CT side, getting reset after that first round. You kind of have to do the double eco, so you might as well force. Now they're sat doing nothing, so APEKS going to be up to 3, and even then the rifle round going into the next not going to be great, not going to be ideal for ESPADA. So work cut out, as I like to say, apparently in this series. It is really going to be tough for the CT side in these early rounds. The Russians got a lot on their plate right now, and I think it is an unenviable position. However, Keith, they are stacked up here, so this could be spicy. They've still got the Deagle in play. Other than that, it's all USPs. He's caught out in the open, though, so surely they should be able to pick them apart easily enough. Losing one. I don't even think they lose any more than that, though, to be honest. Sotfik, there was a gap in the smoke, but he can't capitalize properly. Only the one frag coming in for ESPADA, so APEKS do well into the stack, and they get their third to boot.
No op for Dexter is really going to limit what they can do on the CT side, in my opinion. It's going to hurt them quite a bit. He likes to float in the op and Mirage, likes to be aggressive, work picks on his spawn, Scriv. And without having the ability to do that, I wonder how it really is going to affect their game plan moving into the CT side early. It's going to have to be sound crossfires, good communication, and utility usage. It's a sound rifle round. Good spam early under the op of APEKS. Marcelius down to 22. Still brazen to look for a pick, and Sophic comes right back to his loving arms. Dexter tries to take the same peek. Sure, he'll finally fall, but Dima only gets the one and backs on out. And he gets naded. Wow, APEKS are just really dialed in right now, Scriv. They give one freebie back, but they're not in the world or in the realm of giving more than one. ACAS, I thought he was peeking with Gruss. Oh, wow, they fell apart real quick.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what has happened here. It's kind of turned crazy.
He left the bomb?
Oh, is there enough to work with? No, that's relatively well played by Kez, actually. Not charging in too quickly, recognizing someone could even spray through the smoke. They will double peek this, and almost both of them falling, actually. Patsy's up on short fast enough. ESPADA stealing it away, I think. Like, at the very least, making it look a bit easier than it should have done. Huge kind of blunder. The connector mess from APEKS cost them that round. We'll be able to buy into this one. And 3 FAMASs out for the CT side. So again, that economy working against them. But all the same, they will be happy to get that second on the board. Stringing them together is very important here, though.
Yeah, that is key. Because APEKS have built a little bit of a bank. They've cashed out their investments and they're sitting somewhat pretty. The op, of course, in play for Dexter. Number 5 on your minimap. Dancing around. Top connector. Supporting his teammate in connector, and Sophic flash over the top. They're going to try to crunch mid here. The op is just posted. That is comfortable from Dexter. Right in his wheelhouse. They're going to assume someone has pushed window as ACAS will peek into his death. Sophic comes back to clear it, and that is just heads up. Awareness through the roof from Sophic. And that's what you need from a spotter right now, is that awareness. APEKS are playing very aggro, tradable, prodding. And you just need to be aware, head on a swivel, and that's what Sophic has. Truth and Dennis, this is going to be a hard one to reel back in. Like you have a shark on the line, you only have a 20-pound test. That's a really niche reference that only fishermen will get, Scriv.
All good, man. At least you said niche, right?
Yeah, true. I do love quiche. Oh, wait, I said niche. Oh, hang on.
This is interesting. Truth is,
He got timing?
spinning around.
He got timing!
Or did he get seen? I don't know. I think. Maybe. I guess
He
not.
got spotted by the default player, yeah.
Okay. Well, I guess he can't get any more than he was already looking for, but it's into a 2-on-2. Very quickly shut down, however. ESPADA just able to use that initial manpower. That's such a shame. He could have found so much. Just get spotted.
Just look at the money. Look at these buys. They've finally broken the APEKS bank, in air quotes. But both teams with what I would consider equal buys right back again. This is an early half turning point. Whoever wins this will be in the driver's seat for a wee bit. They'll be in control of the GPS and the map. Steema banged out by Gruss. Patsy's in need of some assistance. He hits the lifeline, but they don't get there in time. And they're going to have to back on out, save the op, save that M4, and concede the 4th to APEKS, who are playing just right in their wheelhouse, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, much more competitive than I was expecting, right? With the way that ESPADA have picked up some early rifle rounds, they just can't find consistency. where Apex actually, in the gun rounds, are finding a bit more of said consistency. So, kind of troublesome for the CT side, maybe. They can't keep their economy under wraps. They can't string them together as as much as they would like. I think I've said that word a bit too much, but it really does, you know, describe what is going on here. And the fact that both teams are keeping it close, keeping it competitive. Apex, like I say, coming into Mirage, it's maybe not what we were expecting of them. You know what's always expected, though? Of course, it's Hellcase. It's Hellcase. They're here every map with these codes, Malta V15, some extra cash, and a 15% refill bonus for you guys. Banner down below will take you directly to their website. They got everything going on. Competition area, you know, the esports area. They got so many different cases and a bit of a bespoke feel to you when you want to collect some skins. Pretty sick. It's pretty sick, to be honest. And, of course, we appreciate their support as always. Timeout coming in from Apex.
It's time to talk. Take a moment. What did ESPADA say? Well, Dexter lived, so they probably carried an op over, right? Oh, that B hit felt pretty good. That was pretty simple, right? Do we want to run that bag? Well, Patsy, gonna have a deagle. Force up around what they saved. Surprised Dexter didn't drop at MP9, if I'm gonna be completely honest. But I guess he's looking to the future. Next rifle round, probably wants to get the ops out again. And Dima and Finnegan gonna take A ramp control. One close, rifle in support. Very typical. That deep smoke may make them consider their options here from Apex.
Oh, great hold. It's a little quick though. Kez not respecting the second, and they'll be happy to go 1 for 1 there on the CT side. Patsy, meanwhile, think is going to get mollied out. It seemed like Dennis had a Molotov available. Ooh. And like a ghost, he jumps across. He will dip back in, though, and they're not ready for this. Dennis gets caught off by it. A second? No way. Nearly, but he does get dropped. Still, damage is done. Quick flank coming in. Dexter on the AWP looking solid. There's a flank on the flank. It's a little crazy right now. Truth maybe not expecting the second man. He definitely will be now. Sotfik actually went for the kill on the planter. All onto Truth then. 1v2, and I mean, he was dead to rights. You can see they both have participation in that kill. So 4-4. ESPADA stealing one away with a weak buy.
Games like this, you need to be able to pull rounds like that out of the bag. You just need to. You only get 1 or 2 in a game, and they cashed one of theirs in early. But it's at a good time. Again, forcing all of the money out of Apex. Another prime opportunity for ESPADA to break Apex's cash and get right back into this CT side groove. But every time we've been in a situation like this, it's Apex to have a clap back. And Sotfik is not afraid. He'll peek completely dry, Finnegan the same, and if you blink, you'll miss it. Because Apex are down by 2 members, and now continue that thought. As it just kills galore, though, at this moment. Dennis feels like that smoke, that gap gives him room, and it does. Patsy could be need some help, but he's alone now. He's lost all his A-side players. Marcelius is going to try to dip out of here. And Marcelius is coming back to challenge him. Cat, on that angle, you're out of your mind. He even peeked with Dennis. He was going to go for the bomb, instead just peeks. And again, Apex have an answer when their backs to the wall, Scriv. These guys just pull these rounds out.
Yeah, they really do look good under pressure, right? I think that's where they are finding a great deal of success. It is a commendable trait for sure. ESPADA once again, that string of rounds that they have been after for quite some time just does not come. Their economy can't hold it. Oh, and Sortvik, as he looked to dip out, send someone across to the A-bomb site, you know, away from this stack, he gets taken down, and Gruss is a little suspicious. However, the Molotov works against him. That's a great find from Dima. That'll be an AK to retrieve as well. They're all by themselves, but the information comes in that the B-bomb site is more likely than not a stack, and they begin to push onto A, find out that A is clear, and with that, the round should fall. UMP of APEKS looking to make some cash money. Does need to be careful, though, because Dima with that pesky AK is nearby.
You definitely want to make some moolah, but at the same time, don't want to feed Dima's confidence, and that won't help his confidence. A straight up peek from Marcelius, AK drop. Finnegan has it, no armor, stuck in sight. No saving allowed on Truth's terms. And APEKS, they haven't given anything to ESPADA, right? They haven't given them those. They've given them the one freebie round, but as I said, everyone gets like 1 or 2 a game. ESPADA cash that in early. But whenever APEKS's cash is low, they take the round. They've handled the ecos, like pure ecos, really well. And they force ESPADA into buys like this, which we didn't see often on Nuke, right? ESPADA were very reserved. They're winning their rifle rounds when they want, and their money was up and down. But you know what? They typically went for these full buys. Here on Mirage, they're chasing, and that's what APEKS wants.
Well, Marcelius going to find the first once again. APEKS coming in with good amount of speed off the back of this execute. Awkward fights. Dexter in with a triple from Sandwich. They just about managed to salvage things. Is it too little too late? It looks like it might be. Patsy in with the final frag. It comes awfully close considering Dexter's 3k. But all the same, Sandwich goes unchecked. A great setup of the one player under bulk. And Dexter at Sandwich. They both play their parts fantastically. It will be a 5th round for ESPADA.
Oh, Dexter. I think Marcellus is doing that little cheeky boost you do towards A ramp to give yourself some more elevation. Gruss isn't welcomed very kindly in towards the B site. Threw a molly into a nade. Dima, this is an offhand. I think Truth hurt him. I don't know if he did, but he definitely clears it. And with all the damage APEKS have taken, they definitely needed an opening kill. They needed that first blood. And success in doing so, based on their positioning, I think this is just going to be a straight up cat split to B Scriv. And I'm all for it. I live for this. They just have to be able to trade out this window player.
Oh, Dexter coming in with a double at the top end. Not looking too good.
Ah, I missed the window smoke too.
Yeah, all on Truth. Can't get it done. It gets peeked by 3 players, and kind of an awkward one. They actually lost a man there on the ESPADA side in terms of connection, not just, you know, frags and whatnot. So that could have been painful. But all good. He's back in awfully fast. They are leaving themselves a little less time. Maybe a slight technical could have been wise here, but they do eventually get the buyout, and I would hope they have called the strat of the round. Regardless, starting to string them together now, Keith. This is what they have been lacking for quite some time. ESPADA really finding their groove. Should be able to get another. Dexter pushing forwards. Looking real good on this AWP. Should quite easily be a 7th off the back of the opening pick, and the fact that they have very little weaponry to work with. There you go. Glock gets the better of Dima. Spoke too soon, but it should be all said and done here. That is the case. So, 7th for ESPADA. We'll see now how APEKS bounce back. They have been keeping it close, been keeping it competitive, arguably being the team in the lead in some of these cases. The team in control. But they are losing that control towards the tail end of this first half. ESPADA recovering back well and looking to keep it going with a double up setup coming into play, Keith.
Double up, and Patsy takes the cheeky new tech boost, right? Long gone are the days jumping up on Van. No, you jump on your teammate's shoulders. We've evolved. Another FAMAS for Sotfik. Honestly, I don't even think it hampers him at this point. He seemingly always wins his fights at the FAMAS when he gets the first shot. APEKS was going to try to not be an example of that. Speaking of first kills and first picks, ESPADA given one in the form of the Opera. Marcelius, he's gone. And they have plenty of utilities still to ice out APEKS. And they're kind of playing this like tippy-toe style of contesting mid, giving up mid, playing around their utility, but not completely giving up to APEKS. I like the change from ESPADA.
Yeah, they've really found a different style, a different energy. Almost finding 2 more kills in this round as well. Dennis survives just about through the smoke there, but Gruss also low. Patsy, speedy. Truth gets 1. That looks like it's all they're going to get here on the APEKS side, and it is. ESPADA finds the 8th. This is very quickly turned into a one-sided affair for that CT side. APEKS have hit a solid brick wall. Would be lovely to get the 7th, of course, and keep it within 1. But at the same time, it's going to be difficult. The buy, not ideal, I think, because we're seeing all these knives on the hood. That means there's an awful lot of pistols in play. You have a lot of utility, though, Keith. However, 3 players to get through on the B-bomb site, if this is actually where they're going to burst, like, really early on into the round, which looks to be the case.
Yeah, this is a good little setup from ESPADA. A hard read on no mid control, no presence, a trust in Finnegan towards this A side to just live, and Sotfik and Window to just spot. A hard read from ESPADA, knowing that APEKS's economy is not great, and whenever it's meh, they like these B-pops. And they will have 3 players here, the first kill on Gruss, and APEKS are bailing. They don't like the feels. They'll send ACAS in to make some ruckus and make some noise, but it's going to be very apparent to ESPADA that they're doubling back in through underpass and bailing out. ACAS desperately needs a kill to really sell this, or at least keep a couple players honest, but it's all telegraphed. ESPADA are all over this.
Looks like it. It's still kind of close, kind of competitive.
Oh, that's
fight
a
there.
wacky peek.
Yeah, I don't know about that one. Patsy getting ahead of himself. The nade does come through, but you have to look at Dexter and Dima being a little low. Oh, and it's... Oh, that's such a shame. That is such a shame. Dima spots him over the top of the smoke. That was the difference maker. Marcelius is in a good enough spot. Does manage to find 1. Second coming in for him. He's on for the ace here. Does have the bomb in hand. My guy, that is ambitious. There's no time. There is no way. Needed 5 more seconds. Oh, okay. Jeez. If he'd have found that, that would have been crazy, but not going to be the case. That's so unfortunate for Marcelius. Just a slight lapse in judgment, but as soon as he'd started going for it, he couldn't really go back. Really, really difficult stuff in the end, and it will be a 9th round for ESPADA. Really looking good, as you can see. 5 strung together in the end. They had struggled with it in a big way to begin with, but found it in the end. So coming away with a bit of a lead. The odds heavily in their favor as the updated live odds come in from our betting partner Lootbet. So APEKS going to need a hell of a CT side.
This is where ESPADA are going to get a little wild. I felt like they were a little timid on their CT side. I liked the approach, but this is where they're going to get all their aggression out, right? This is like, maybe therapy is not the right word, but this is where they're going to just get revenge, run at them throughout this entire T side, getting picks in default, and into this pistol. It's a B-pop. Need the first one. The second will not follow, but it's Truth just alone and isolated. And even though the rotates come in from APEKS, unless Dennis, the best pistol player in the world, can get something going. I'm not sure how I feel about Marcelius' chances. Dinked up, sure, gets the 1. And now he's stuck in a smoke as bullets whiz by. On 9 HP, Kid is down, sure. But that's just well handled from ESPADA. Pick up a pistol right when they need it. That throws them to double digits. APEKS have a decision to make. Force or save. And either way, I don't envy their decision.
Yeah, I think they're in a very tough spot very early on into the second half. The pistol would have been a nice cushion, a nice lifeline for them to have. Not going to be the case. Bit of a slow start from ESPADA though. Trying to go for that mid control, as is normal in situations like this when you have the better weapons and more utility at play. They know at the very least, you know, sure, it could be an eco, but at the very least, if it is a buy, we have stronger weapons and more utility. So playing it nice and safe down here on the ESPADA side of things.
Up cat, they just go, Scruff. March it up. The guns from APEKS need to kill before they get to the site, and APEKS delivers. Nearly looking like he's gonna get a second, but from Halls, Gruss has to deal with this B Halls player, gets just caught up in the moment, right? Too many angles, too many people. And he just can't focus on one. Marselius and Dennis gonna be going for damage here. Definitely achievable. If Dennis can get towards Cat, maybe win a 1v1 against Patsy, right? But then he's going to get instantly peeked by the Get Right player. So a lot of what ifs here. And well, reality is witnessed real quick. The rifles come out. Dexter's shooting the AK at his teammate, but he ignores his calls. So Sophic gets out with the UMP. APEKS have to save either way, so another chance for Sophic just go make that money. And ESPADA should be, barring some sort of absurdity with these USPs, up to 12, doubling the score of APEKS.
Yeah. Like I say, I think early on into this half, they have kind of a troublesome task ahead of them. Was to be expected though. Mirage not so hot. It's ESPADA's map pick. It's probably, what, a top 2 map, I would say, for ESPADA, if not the top map. Kind of up there with Overpass. Debate to be made. So, certainly to be expected. Just to a whole other kettle of fish, but it does look like if things continue, unless APEKS can, you know, really bounce back, pick up the first rifle round, roll into the second and the third probably, then more likely than not, we are headed to Dust 2.
Yeah, it's looking like it. This is going to be a round where I'm going to be leaning heavily, and I feel like I do this a lot, but on Marselius. Right? You budget for the op, you get it out at the expense of utility and kit. To me, you have to be impactful. He's going to be playing towards top connector. Dennis not worrying about ramp yet. He'll get great timing on Finnegan. Catches him looking towards jungle. And Dennis is the man from under balcony. ESPADA now. No A pressure, just mid control. And it's not even a well-ingrained mid control until they get connector, which they're starting to. They have phased the cat player back, and they're going to try to split up Catwalk Scriv. This could be deadly.
Absolutely. They are somewhat ready for it, though, on the B-bomb site, looking at these angles, looking at these positions. Akez gets an easy one. Gruss holding down the apartments. Finds himself a second from that van angle. Wow. Not a single frag for ESPADA. APEKS setting up shop on that B-bomb site and just ripping them apart.
towards top mid. Marcelius, I think he thought he had timing, but his spawn was just not good. Typically, you see players not go for that if their spawn is and I think Marcelius just had a couple paces further back spawn than he was expecting. And maybe he was honestly hoping for a top mid smoke from ESPADA to facilitate some sort of window jump out. And now his teammates are scrambling to try to recover from that opening pick from ESPADA. Instead, they lose APEKS and Gruss goes down to 16. Someone has to make a play. It's on Dennis's shoulders. He's going to push through all the way through a ramp. I don't think he can stop there. I think he has to keep going. Because they really have no idea what's coming from ESPADA. And yeah, that is just telltale.
Yeah, this is kind of the issue, isn't it, right? Where ESPADA kind of struggled to find strings early on. APEKS are doing the same, but they needed them. They needed at least a second, right? To just buy themselves a bit more room to work with. Definitely painful to be on the other end of, but that is the way it goes. Gonna move in, angle gonna get checked. Yeah, Gruss gets destroyed there. I think at best he gets 1 or 2 anyway. It wouldn't have had too much impact the round over, and Dennis probably looking to save. Maybe find some cheeky bits of utility at the tail end. But there you are, ESPADA gonna get themselves that 13th round. It looks like, you know, straight back on track. Bit of a blunder in the previous, but not really anything too much to worry about.
ESPADA, I bet they're feeling pretty good. They're probably wondering where all this confidence was on Nuke. Without it now, Dennis. Yeah, this is awkward. Oh, don't peek, Dennis! No! Gun gone. They'll buy either way. Perhaps someone is willing to... Never mind. My point wouldn't have made sense anyway. I would have left him without armor. And that is a necessity. Especially at this current point. This is basically for the game, Scriv. This is either you win this and you keep it rolling for a bit if you're APEKS, or we'll see you on Dust 2. Mid-aggression. I love this from APEKS. Take the fight to them. Degster's posted. No flashes from APEKS. Bit of an oversight. And now everyone is just dying as they peek top mid. I don't know if they'll expect the catwalk player with the Galil. Softpick seemingly ready. AK's only with 2. And unfortunately, even with 2, it's just not enough, Scriv.
He's going to try. Here's Patsy. Gets a freebie onto him. But they are so split. Finding that one player doesn't give the full picture at all. Dennis, though, kind of realizes this. Obviously, a really experienced player looking to just charge his way in. Interesting here. They might not expect him to be across so fast. They do seem slightly wary, and Finnegan gets the drop on him. 14th in for ESPADA. Definitely did look slightly doable in the clutch from Dennis. I like the decision to, you know, quickly run across and not take any chances. But in the end, it will end up going the way of ESPADA pretty cleanly. And I think the game may well just come off the back of it. The 15th going to happen here, or the map, I should say. But the 15th going to happen here quite easily. We have a nade, a smoke, some deagles. I think a CZ in there. And the nade does a big chunk of damage. They could certainly take a few names. Not that it would really matter all that much going into the next, but maybe in the future, if they can do some damage, maybe in the future it is going to hurt them.
Oh. Careful here. It is just pistols from APEKS. They're going to be playing for OT, but if you're a spotter, you don't want to give them any free rounds. You don't want to give Apex the 1 to 2 rounds like this. They're guaranteed in a game. You want to let it happen at all. Gruss. That second Eagle shot seemed like he was moving. Kind of magical. And Sophic, Finnegan, and Patsy all one, depending on the range, I think one shot of a body shot, maybe 48. It would take 2. I'm reaching a little bit. I don't exactly remember the exact body shot distance for the Deeg. As I've been alluding to, not very smart when it comes to math. I think that shot hit Patsy in the hip, down to 23. And ESPADA have to be oh so careful. Going 1 for 1 in the situation isn't always the right move. Gruss playing empty, and he'll patiently lie and wait, Scriv.
Gruss. He was in such a good spot. He moved away at the wrong time, didn't spot that player around the corner. Kind of unfortunate. Again, you know, he's able to find 1 or 2 around somewhat up in the air. Dennis. Not feeling it. I'm going to move away and save. The overall goal of getting someone out with an AK, I guess, comes in here for Apex. So not all bad in that sense. Tiny bit of damage done, right? But ultimately, ESPADA just continuing on this path in the second half. Apex, the economy has escaped them. Not being able to string them together. Did get that first rifle round. It was very, very dominant, but beyond that, not really found anything. So you can kind of feel for them, but at the same time, they have made their bed. And now I suppose they're going to try and wrestle their way through the next 8 rounds in a row. Starts off with a pretty decent buy though, Keith. AWP in hand for Marcelius. An Organ play, which is always interesting to see, and all the utility, all the kits available. So no excuse in terms of the equipment. It does come down to the way that they approach the round. This one, and probably 2 more after to break the bank of ESPADA. So a lot of work to be done in these early rounds on the comeback train.
Yeah, a lot of work is definitely what I would call it. Definitely a lot of that to be done. Otherwise, Dust 2 is on the horizon. We'll have to take the short drive over there from Mirage to Dust 2. And Marcelius wants to get aggressive. It's a bit of a fake with all this fire being tossed around. Apex take the bait. Mid control is now free for ESPADA. And Patsy's creeping. He's close up in the smoke. Big one for Dennis. Yeah, you can take damage. And you'll even double in with Gruss. Beautiful stuff from Apex to fight and retake mid. But all of a sudden, it's Akez alone on B. And if he falls, and this goes into a post plant in a 4v3, you never know what's going to happen, Script.
Very true, sir. Teamer comes in to kind of answer your question ever so slightly. Bomb goes down. Low HP on some of these players. An interesting post plant setup here, actually. Whoa, Gruss just clapping out 2, though. Coming in with a vengeance. Not a chance at all. He will eventually fall, but the damage already done. The rest of the team comes in. They'll get the defuse. They'll get the 8th on the board. So well done on the retake from Apex. And if we see more of that, ESPADA might just be shaken ever so slightly, given a couple more rifle rounds going the way of the CT side.
Always a chance. You're never too far behind. You play it 1 round at a time. You play reactionary if you're Apex, right? You take risks because you have to. Every round is a risk now. Dennis, back to this top mid pressure, spotted out by Sotvic. And if I'm Dennis, I'm bailing. I'm not sticking around. Yeah, you do not want to fight this top mid player. You've lost your timing on underpass. You don't know what's happening there. And here comes Patsy. Dennis actually bests him, and he's going for more because they've lost a player early. Dennis, in hopes of doubling down, is going to go up. He's jumping up. He'll take the fight, and Dennis will win it. That's huge. As he can back on up now, he realizes B is probably conceded. And the willingness to just give that up, take the fight, is big from Dennis.
Another retake required. Finnegan in a great spot here at the jail window. Slightly off. Slightly unexpected, maybe. They're trying to shoulder peek in, and his patience pays off. Dima also dropping Gruss. Oh, Dima finding a Kez, and it looks like it's all fallen apart. A slight change in the setup, and it works beautifully. Dima finding 3 from bench to close us out. APEKS cursed as well on that CT side. Stringing them together, seemingly impossible. And ESPADA will pick up the second map, so we will have to move to Dust 2 to decide this one. It is somewhat what we expected, particularly after Nuke going the way that it did. It did see Mirage being a massive challenge, and in the end, it kind of was. That CT side, very, very flat from APEKS. You do have to feel for them. It really quickly became difficult. They ran out of money. They were, double the rounds behind or whatever when it was like 12-6 after the pistol. So you do have to feel for them ever so slightly, but still, they had chances to get a chunk of rounds, particularly with the first rifle round going their way, and then they just weren't really able to convert.
Yeah, and the stars were playing well. Dennis and Marcelius really delivering when they needed to. Akez had some rounds here and there. So it's not like it was completely flat. And there's Marcelius so far through 2 maps, 45 and 31, playing really well, out KDing Degster, the best player from ESPADA. So those are good stats to have. And I think that just shows that the talent is there for APEKS. Just the map pool is lacking, and that is what ESPADA have over them. And I don't know if Dust 2 is going to be very similar to Mirage in the aspect of fighting for control, right? We didn't see a lot of times APEKS on their CT side push for that information. It was really only Dennis making those info plays. And on Dust 2, it's going to be a lot of those, right? You're going to have to push B tunnels time to time. You're going to have to peek mid. You're going to have to take these long fights. And I'm a little worried to see what APEKS have for us. I know Marcelius is going to be dialed in. Give him the op, and he'll be able to find you kills, but it might not always help you transfer those rounds, those picks, into round wins.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. It really does affect the turnout in the end. I don't know. I'm not sure whether, because of a weak performance there, whether APEKS will be able to bounce back. Dust 2 is also a pretty solid map for ESPADA, where their individuals have a lot of room and a lot of potential to pop off. So I feel this is, again, going to be them up against it, backs up against the wall kind of thing. Bit more pressure on them as well, which is perhaps something that comes into play on Mirage, is the fact that they already have the map in hand. It's not going well for us. We don't need to wreck ourselves over this. Just, focus and get ready for Dust 2. So, but now they don't have that luxury of the map in hand. Pressure is stacking. Pressure is stacking for sure.
Yeah, I agree. And I think Dust 2 is going to be a good battleground for both these teams. It's going to really show who's more resilient and who can just play longer days of CS, right? Third maps are typically exciting. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, as Scriv mentioned, it's Dust 2. welcome back. Vibe check. How you feeling? How's everyone doing? It's Malta Vibes, and it's map number 3 between ESPADA and APEKS. Scriv, opening thoughts, middle thoughts, and then closing thoughts. Wrap it all together.
Okay.
Give me your summary, win conditions, your hair product, all of it in one go.
Just good old water, my guy.
Amazing.
Jeans,
Amazing.
just jeans, I guess. You know, both my parents got real thick hair, so that's to answer that one. Opening thoughts, definitely, you know, got to touch on the previous map there. Not so hot from APEKS, little flat, as to be expected, but maybe getting a bit too complacent. Maybe they've given a bit too much energy across to ESPADA, which comes into the middle thoughts of the Dust 2, where I feel ESPADA are going to be really confident moving into this one. Great map for them, suits their play style. The AWP's looking good. They had the double up set up even as well with Patsy coming in. So I feel that APEKS maybe didn't put up a good enough fight. And then in terms of, like, you know, the ending thoughts, the win conditions, like you say, I've gone over them a little bit for ESPADA. Double up set up coming in again. And there are individuals popping off. Meanwhile, for the APEKS side, I think we've talked about it quite a lot, and you've phrased it as like ego peaks and whatnot. Just don't give ESPADA the early fights. Don't play into their hand, because I think they will end up losing an early advantage and then struggling to come back from that, and constantly having to fight from the back foot is not going to be good for APEKS. There you go.
Okay, that was a good summary. Mine is going to be a bit more simplistic. I'm going to keep it very, very baseline. Are you ready? Win those fights for map control, Scriv. Opening, close, done. But no, really. I think this is knife round a little prevalent on Dust 2. Team preference more so. But I think it is going to be those duels and fighting for information, which we didn't see a lot of from APEKS on their CT sides, right? A lot of the times they didn't necessarily know what was happening. Dennis tried to push A ramp one time and got caught out by Palace players, like player in jungle, because they weren't communicating that, hey, I'm pushing ramp, I'm not holding Palace. And I need that communication level from APEKS. I need them to have that push for information on that CT side and strive for map control on T side. You want to control the pace on both sides of the map. Easier to do so on the T side, but yeah, it's just how I'm feeling. It's how I'm jiving.
Beautiful flyover. All the way through short. Oh. The hood having a breakdown. There we go. Oh, wait. Nearly. Just got to get APEKS. Find the logo. The algorithm's trying really hard.
Oh, crunch the numbers.
Okay, well, for now,
yeah.
Oh, hey,
yes, sir.
Let's go. That's all it needed was, you know, the cheeky swap across, of course. And here are the odds. Ooh, you know, a little heavier than I thought in favor of ESPADA. I honestly thought they would maybe be a bit closer. More like a, you know, 1.8 and 2 kind of deal. But not the case. Not the case. So, of course, Lootbet are betting partners disagreeing with me slightly, and that's fair enough. They are the expert when it comes to that kind of thing. Use code Malta, get yourself 10 free spins, 100 bonus euros on your first deposit. Banner down below. You know how it goes. And here we are into the pistol. Bit of action over at Longkeith, but not too much happening as yet. We've got a lot of utility from this T side, so clearly they have got plans. A P250 in play as well. This is an awkward fight. Dennis, the pistol master. There you go. He's got to get one in each pistol, but that's all he's going to get into this round.
Well, hey. P250 in Dagster's hands could always be a deadly tool. As Truth will peek in towards middle, his timing just off. Now he's worried, right? Because he didn't see anyone mid. He's considering maybe they are really coming towards B. APEKS have one player in pit and doubled up on long corner. Gross gets his one. Dexter, of course, a B250. The man to answer back. Is he going to control it for 3? He's on pace for the ace. That A-ramp player in AKES has pushed in towards CT now, fighting with his back to the smoke, and he'll just dissipate through it. I think He's just going to group up with Truth. And they're going to try this from a new angle.
Oh. Then again, that first line of defense not able to find anything. Sophic over. Okay, he sets it up for Dexter though. As you see, that shot comes in from the side. The P250 absolutely deadly takes his time and drops Truth. ESPADA will get the pistol. Dexter gets the ace, baby. First one of the series. That Raid Boss P250, you can see why they gave it to him. He was like, listen guys, I've been feeling it all series. Give me that sweet P250 and watch this. And he delivers in a big way. APEKS getting clapped out by the man.
It's what you love to see from Dexter. We all know his skill level, and it's cool for him to show it. A big pistol round ace is going to motivate the boys, get them buzzing. And just Eagles and Scouts are going for the tag and cleanup crew mentality right now. These Scouts really do have to start finding some damage, though. The minute 23 remaining, long control completely given up to ESPADA. Truth needs to land a couple here. Because ESPADA are just going to go to the bread and butter on Dust 2, the smokes, the crosses, the sight mollies. And there's one Scout tag. Truth needs to go for a second. He realizes this himself. That's exactly what he'll do.
Oh. Any more here would certainly be problematic for ESPADA. Especially without them finding a frag or getting control of the site. Great little taps coming in though. Truth left so low, he doesn't care. Drops Sophic. That is massive. Should surely go down here. He does, but he's created a lot of room for the rest of the boys to come in on it. It's a 4-on-3 with the bomb being down. Pressure is on. Another kill for the CT side. Dima though over at short, looking to clean things up here and now. My goodness, so crisp. We'll leave Akez the only one left. As I mean, he'll try and go for it, but you don't expect too much. He'd sacrifice the cross. He's only got the deagle to play with. He's smoked off as well, so just going to have to swing in. They are so ready for him. Does manage to get a bit of damage in. That was close. That was indeed close on the flick, but just not going to be. And the second round for ESPADA strung together. Kind of costly, though.
Definitely a chance. And play from Dima. It's just oh so Dima. You know what I mean? It's just such a Dima play. And it's APEKS with nothing now. Nothing going for him. Gonna be 3-0, barring some absurdity. Sophic with a Glock? Not sure how he just has that. And Gruss with the Eagle gets the first. And with Sophic with a Glock, that could be troublesome. Dennis, any damage at Dink long range would be really cool for Dennis. I think his days are numbered, however. And yeah, we're quickly going to snap into reality as soon as ESPADA take this site. But I say this, and Gruss with his Deagle finds a second, a third, a fourth from Gruss. He's on a run for the ace. What is going on? And he's hungry. He wants it. Top site, but Sophic shuts it down. Marcelius finds the back 10. And APEKS have done it with a Deeg and USPs.
Insane. Absolutely insane. Oh my goodness. One after another after another. ESPADA are going to be kicking themselves. They do have enough to buy up here, but it's not really ideal. Up against a double up setup, by the way. Down goes their up. Will be retrieved, but an early pickup for APEKS. Nice and easy, nice and simple, despite being blind as well, actually. So, kind of a shame. ESPADA annoyed and angry, frustrated with the previous round, and not the best of starts to this one either. Meant to be their response round. Oh, and another kill coming in. Dennis goes unchecked, gets some pretty good timing. He will be traded, but he almost finds 2, actually, with Finnegan being left on 11 HP. So a 4-on-3 that looks so, so good for Apex.
Double ops. I found a pick, and a rifle of Dennis gets traded. Not bad for Apex. Bit of a fake from Dima here, trying to show mid presence, get a pick, and back up now because they found the A player. How do ESPADA pull rounds back like this consistently, Scriv? It's just something they always are able to do somehow. And they're not going to give Gruss an inch. They're not going to give him any chance to peek off of long. And I don't even know if Truth is interested in rotating over either. Now he will.
Oh, does so decisively as well. Patsy trying to hold things down from on high. 9 HP for Truth, but he lands the headshot. Patsy can't get it done. Oh my goodness. Again, all the way down to the wire. The crazy rounds, Keith. But the second comes in for Apex. Truth will save the AWP. And thank goodness there's not quite enough cash from ESPADA. But honestly, wouldn't be too averse for them to go for the force here. And they will. Does kind of make sense. They just about have money to drop everything across. But look how brittle this CT economy is, right? Even if they win the round, but only with 1 or 2 left alive again, it's not going to be good enough.
Yeah, looking like peanut brittle, and I'm not just saying that because I'm hungry and craving some peanut brittle. And Ampa Marcelius gives them that pick potential towards mid. He gets caught actually double scoping on Xbox towards Catwalk. APEKS to bail him out with 2 and nearly the third. 11 HP from Finnegan. Marcelius is going to say thank you to APEKS because that would have been awful if they didn't get a walk away with anything towards mid there. Gruss towards fence. Smoke will fade. He'll have the drop, but immediately traded once again from ESPADA. Their trade speed is through the roof as Dennis in towards window. Spots a player going back plat. They'll exchange damage. And this is where it gets spicy now, Scriv. This B retake in a 2v2.
Dennis is relatively late to the party here. Truth having to wait for him. Dennis is also incredibly low, making a lot of noise. Dima very ready. Flash coming in over the top, and Dennis actually drops Dima. That is massively surprising, and Dexter can't find the frag at all. I figured it would at the very least be down to a 1v1 or a trade situation, but no. APEKS once again coming in clutch with a great little retake, the two of them. ESPADA are, I don't know, looking good early on into rounds, but then sort of falling apart when it matters most. This is really surprising to see. Really, really surprising. Meanwhile, though, ESPADA are able to still buy, albeit with 4 Galils, but keeping that pressure on. APEKS, no room to breathe.
This game delivering on all aspects right now, Scriv. Through the mid come ESPADA. Again, not really challenged, but Marcelius being a bit of a nuisance in ESPADA. He's been doing a nice job of switching up his positions, maybe not always getting kills, but being unpredictable. As that Opera on Dust 2 is in and of itself a bit of a talent. And ESPADA man down now, going right to the strat book, right to an execute up short. Dennis is hitting heads. He'll commit a bit too hard, stranding his teammate at Goose. And APEKS, always good for a kill, it seems. A good nade in from Gruss. They have to get this bomb planted. And with no health, no utility, they decide to fight. And Finnegan, he has to ace Scriv to clutch this out, and I wouldn't put it past him.
Hey, stranger things have happened so far on Dust 2. Not to be in this round, though. Marcelius will drop Finnegan. Just as, you know, start to build it up that it is going to happen, but it won't. APEKS now starting to edge ahead. 2 rounds in the lead, breaking the bank. They're going to half buy, okay. I thought we were going to see a full buy from them. We've actually praised ESPADA throughout this series for making some really smart economic decisions. And those smart economic decisions do continue, to be fair. However, not expecting too much from them into this round. Pressure, damage, certainly doable. It has been close in a lot of the previous rounds, but APEKS in this one, finding their groove. 3 kills coming in. Down goes Dennis. Maybe spoke a bit too soon with Dima. Oh, the timing. That's so unfortunate. He's the only one left now as well. Gets another somehow. Gruss caught reloading. Hello? Okay. Marcelius misses a sitter apparently, but does get it the second time around. And it's somewhat crazy, somewhat dicey, but all the same, APEKS going to get that 5th round on the board.
Oh, hell case, the boys. Malta V 15. They have been sound partners through and through with every week, in and out. Awesome partners to have. Check them out. Esports mode, hundreds of cases. It's the site to open cases on. No doubt in my mind. Marcelius taking an aggressive mid pick again. The talent of being unpredictable. While ESPADA still try to find a way to crack this CT side of APEKS that has been like a brick wall. Kind of the embodiment of Pink Floyd's song. You get that reference?
I get that one. That one's fairly...
Low-hanging fruit, yeah.
Yeah, fairly well known. Hey, you never know, though. Some people might not. Go
Pink
look
Floyd
it up.
who?
Yeah.
Imagine.
It is a good one. Very deep and meaningful. Akez. Great spot for him here. This is somewhat of an unexpected angle as well. Spots out the leg, and that should have been his frag, but it wasn't. He tried his best with something a bit different. Doesn't really work out. The door being flipped, of course, works for truth, but only for 1. 4 on 3, but certainly not said and done just yet. We do have a HE available. We do have a couple Molotovs available on that CT side of things. So, particularly with being the bomb planter, Sotfik could go down easily. Dima's come in from behind, though. He catches him off guard, and Sotfik with 1 HP finds the final frag. ESPADA, the speedy contact B. Well, it works perfectly. They wipe the floor with APEKS, and of course, that CT side, that pesky CT side, as soon as they lose one there, onto the hard eco. Wow. Real rough. Real rough. Dennis and Truth have got money, but nobody else, so just a couple deagles. And ESPADA looking to bring it within 1, close the gap real fast.
Truth. Peeking in towards lower B. Great flash from ESPADA. We'll send him back, but he needs to stick around because really you only have this deagle in the drop. Thought he was going to get a 1 for 2. Gruss cleans up the mess he started. And thank goodness Degster has that op properly scoped and zeroed in to find those quick kills back. Otherwise, we could have been in some trouble on the ESPADA side. AKEZ has snuck in through the B tunnels all the while. The bomb's still down. AKEZ has the drop, but the AK is superior. And APEKS are doing, honestly, what the best teams in the world do, making every round interesting.
Yeah, they have been kept fairly interesting. Patsy going to drop Truth, though, so I think the interest of this round, Keith, may well have faded. Dennis is going to be around. Oh, the aggressive angle, though. I don't know, bro. You're 29 HP. Yeah. The idea was there, but not going to happen for him. And ESPADA bring it within 1. This is looking really good for them. The buy coming out from the CT side is decent. FAMAS. 2 FAMASes. Lack of utility, but certainly workable. However, ESPADA, if they pick this one up, not only do they even up that scoreline, they will more likely than not be able to gain a few more and get themselves a semblance of a lead. Not a strong lead, not a massive lead, but be in control towards the tail end of this first half. Great little flash. Dima is out here. Oh, and he's going to keep on going through the smoke. Finds one, spins around, and they all fall. Patsy had picked up Gruss. Only Marcelius to find a frag for APEKS. The long aggression from ESPADA is incredibly successful. Now APEKS with their work cut out. 4-on-2. Not looking good. Yeah, and the T side know it. They aren't even going to smoke off. They just look to take the fight. Steamer gets his 3k. And Akez probably has to concede the round.
Oh, this is getting awkward, isn't it? No saving allowed in these parts. Damage is dealt to ESPADA, but that's not really impactful at this current time. Plenty of cash, a few rebuys, sure, Dima. And you just going through this corner smoke is just so popular. And just made popular by aggressive entry fraggers, and Dima will follow their suit. And here we are now, Scriv. 5-5. Nothing for APEKS once more. Their economy has been in tattered the last few rounds, right? Even their full buys have been there. But ESPADA have definitely bounced back. This is kind of what happened on Mirage.
Ooh. Yeah, I think so, right? They maybe underestimate APEKS early. And then change things up ever so slightly. Get aggressive, get in their face. Arguably increasing the disrespect. But just playing their own game, playing to their own strengths. And then they break the economy and can keep them under the cosh. That's pretty much what they're all about. So both these teams actually have really struggled on the CT side with the money and whatnot. It's been an evenly matched game, and even when they're winning rounds, very rarely do they win them cleanly. So we saw, I think we did see a couple on Mirage that were nice and clean, nice and damage free, but then they lost the subsequent rounds, so like it doesn't make too much of a difference. Either way, A bomb site going to be the site of call. There is a good few players here, and they're missing their shots, at least initially, but the weaponry just not strong enough. Dima just holding mouse one there. Patsy, meanwhile, top end of middle. Easy stuff. Easy stuff. 5-on-2. Oh, Dima almost caught off guard, but he won't be. He's been real crisp. I think he loves this map. You can just kind of tell his energy, his confidence, and the way that he is pre-aiming these angles. He's really, 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 really comfortable on Dust 2.
Really solid map for ESPADA across the board. And the scary thing about Dust 2 is if your entry fragger can get out with the utility that your team and support players are throwing, get an entry frag, if not two, and still be alive after that, unreal play, right? Your entry fragger typically is the guy that gets one or none and feeds info to the players that are trading him. And as long as your entry fragger gets a killer gets traded, it's typically good, but Dima goes that extra mile. Speaking of him, and he'll get caught by Marcelius. The yacht makes an appearance, and so far right back into success. Akez calling for this flash. She'll peek on the backside of it. Through the smoke comes another player, but Akez is all over it. The triple spray nearly. But don't worry, his teammates here to back him up, and they'll clean the round up. APEKS fight for long, and this time they'll best ESPADA. What an interesting dynamic we've had towards long. A back and forth from ESPADA running away with it and not taking any casualties to a round like that where Akez holds from pit. Really cool back and forth.
Yeah, it's made for some pretty exciting Counter-Strike, to say the least. Early tag onto Dennis. That's got to suck. Quickly move towards A, though. ESPADA once again looking to employ this aggression and confidence towards their site of choice. Okay, little dicey. Dexter able to take down Marcelius. We've got big damage onto Dima, decent damage onto Dennis. Gruss with a crisp headshot. Should get another here. He does. The bombs dropped there on the site as well. I don't think they quite realize it just yet, but they've given themselves a really good chance into this round. Delaying the T's, splitting them up, making them panic. Bomb does go down into the 4-on-3, but they've got kits and everything available. The manpower, however, is their strong suit and where they need to come out on top. Dexter has found one. Gonna look to deal with a couple more. The nade does minimal damage. The second nade does a lot more. He turns away from the flash. Deep smoke coming in. Meanwhile, Truth chiming in, dropping into CT. Dexter making all the moves as it's back into a 2-on-2. Both coming from short. The bomb so far ticked. They need to get on it in the next couple of seconds. And yeah, they just don't give themselves enough time at all. Dexter with a 4K to pull this round back from the brink. Goes down to the bomb even. His sacrifice knows no bounds. As ESPADA will get the 7th and hold on to their lead.
I think APEKS are still going to be pretty happy with the CT side. In my opinion, at this level, still a T-sided map, like 60-40. And they're staying around that. 2 more rounds, double ops here, their best chance to convert another round, and that's a big opening pick for Marselius. He's been there whenever APEKS needs someone to get a pick, needs someone to step up, it's Marselius and AKES. And this time it's Gruss with the second op. That's the last thing ESPADA expected, was Gruss to be over the op. He'll cut them down a size, Scriv, and this game will continue to deliver in the interesting back and forth dynamics.
Flash out long. Truth has to win this fight. He does. Great angle from him, actually. So I feel any chance of them overwhelming the A-bomb site just denied. Marselius up to 7. We will be looking at a pretty poor buy from ESPADA coming into this final round. So a good chance for APEKS to actually come into the second half with a solid lead. Really good stuff from them to keep things competitive. I honestly thought that Dust 2 would be another Mirage. Maybe a bit more competition. But certainly not as close as it is. Really well done. Sotfit going to open up, though. ESPADA back with a vengeance. A great shot to open things up, to find them a lead. Patsy as well, left to hold things down. Really, really good stuff from ESPADA as he gets that frag also. 5-on-3, straight out of the gate.
This is a big fight for Truth. Has to win it, and he simply can't. Dima and Sophic, the 1-2 punch, a missed shot from Marselius, and that'll seal his fate. It's Gruss alone, up in hand. Bomb's headed to B. They'll know where he is now, as he'll immediately drop CT, maybe give it another fair fight. Okay, Gruss with the flick. I see you. If he finds his mid player, hang on to your hats. An op is posted on him from both angles. It was a scout, actually, correction. But Patsy will land the shot nevertheless. And that is as close as we'll get. ESPADA probably wanting a bit more on this T side. But you know their CT side is going to be equally as deadly. Right? They like fighting for the pace. They like what their Dust 2 game is at. And more importantly, their star in Dima is kind of shining.
Great shot from Softic. Really solid stuff from both teams, to be honest. Can't knock it. Strings for both of them. And like you said, Dima looking solid. Gruss, Truth, Dexter, all really, really good individuals for both sides. Just a question of whether it continues here into half number 2. But Dust 2 definitely delivering. Definitely delivering. Nuke was kind of exciting. But I didn't feel it was, you know, scoreline-wise, it was kind of exciting, but it was weirdly messy towards the end, I think. Dust 2, though, Looking really, 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 really solid from both teams. And some nice clutch moments. Some big deagle moments, of course. The odds still in favor of ESPADA, though, coming in from our betting partners, LootBet, of course. I mean, yeah, maybe I can kind of it. They're only one round in the lead, and APEKS moving on to the T side. You'd assume they have a bit of prominence here. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. The P250s love this, and maybe a bit of a counter strat coming in as they read into ESPADA perfectly. 2 P250s in play just doesn't seem to be working as effectively as they would like. Oh, and more kills. Finnegan pushing forward.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, they're actually getting ripped apart at the end. I thought ESPADA were in with a decent enough chance, but not going to be the case. Finnegan looked like he was in a great spot. They are ripped apart, and APEKS will get the pistol.
That was a cool pistol from APEKS. They know ESPADA like to be aggressive on pistols, and this time they punish it. And quote unquote, right? They make a little bit of a cheat buy. They push down middle, and they just take the fights and best them. And into this round, Dennis with the first opening kill on the beast that has been Dennis, or excuse me, Dima. And they look to just take this man count. They look to just take the numbers, take the long range fights towards long. And Dexter hopefully can pop some heads. Sophic stuck in such an awkward spot. And APEKSers take it to the site, take it to the bank. A flash over for Patsy to come through. Swings back around, he'll double in. Marzelius needs to grab an AK and get involved into this. The saving grace from APEKS. All 3 CTs are stuck in this CT spawn.
Oh, Finnegan. Oh, okay. Little close there, but Marzelius shuts it down before it becomes a problem. Dexter, the only one left here. 1 versus 2. Trying to creep in. On the scout, making so much noise, actually. And yeah, just peeking straight into 2 of them. Dennis takes him down, but Marzelius would have found him regardless. 9th in for APEKS. They fend off against the force buy. Not the cleanest. Certainly dicey at moments. This one particularly for Patsy. But in the end, they get it done. Oh, and a bison. Why? I mean, I guess they don't have armor, but it's like... it's $1,400. You know what I mean? It's just like... buy a Mac 10. I guess it's got a bunch of bullets or whatever. They're all competing to make money here, and it gets very quickly. It's like, oh, what have I gotten myself into? Does get 2. So just shy of paying for itself there, but...
Get him, Marzelius. Get him.
Kill. How's the kills?
They're stealing everything. He gets nothing. That's brutal. That's brutal. That's like a punishment. What has he done to deserve that?
I'm never buying the bison again.
You guys want me to go punt money and you give me a bison? No. At least he'll get the op. Truth's a good player, good teammate. Drops him the ops. Marzelius can get full utility. That's a homie. And ESPADA have the op out on Dexter themselves on the CT side. ESPADA appreciate fights, appreciate map control. They're gonna put a little bit more emphasis on long, but I've seen their cat holds. They're really good at fighting off of mid from cat. So in the future, maybe APEKS will have to be concerned about it. But for now, very standard for both teams, Scriv, off the break.
Whoa, Finnegan. Strong double coming in. Grus does trade him back, but this is making a massive difference already. Marzelius catches the player at the back end. It's been a crazy quick round for both sides. Grus. Oh, dead. Surely. No? Sophic doesn't find him. How? That is crazy that he's still alive. Meanwhile, over on A, Kez has got control. Flash coming over the top. Dexter trying to find a frag. Stay alive at the very least. Flash coming in to take a look over at short, and he does get one, but he's traded instantly. So still pretty much where they left off. 2-on-2, even Stevens. The bomb goes down. With a molly and kits available, that is it for the CT side, but they are left Behind the smoke. Oh, I don't know about this one. Just rushing their way in. The ESPADA boys are desperate. Marcelius gets the first onto Dima, and Ikez comes in, finding Sotfik. Not a chance. As APEKS up to 11.
Marcelius is playing some good Counter-Strike right now. His op is really crispy. He's been iced up and getting really in the zone when it comes to this op. ESPADA gonna have to take a bit of a half buy. Can't chase. This is gonna be hopefully a comfy round for APEKS on their road to taking Dust 2 away as the underdogs, which would be really, really wild to see. A team that's been on the rise, but then ESPADA have like 30 rankings on them in the world ranking, right? Definitely the favorite, to say the least. And APEKS is playing together script. They're playing really team-based Counter-Strike, tradable all the time. And that's been the story on all of the maps we've seen.
Ooh, tag coming in. And actually the frag onto Marcelius. This spices things up. But yeah, certainly APEKS, I mean, we talked about it at the top of the show, to be honest, Keith, like a team that are very often underestimated by everyone involved.
Yeah.
You know, fans, you and I even, right? And now ESPADA. And I think they do have a lot more to offer than people think. And I'm not sure, maybe it's like a mentality or philosophy thing. We do see some of these teams that, you know, when it comes to the online Counter-Strike, maybe write off certain games, just not our day. We don't really know what we're doing against these opponents, and that affects the stats. Rather than, you know, giving it their all and having the big pep talk and all that. And then they save the big moments for the big moments. Such as a series like this, making it through to the semi-final. Of course, once you get into the semis, you're into the money. And then it becomes a case of obviously placings and getting more of said money and the boot camp that is available for the victors. Only a few more weeks left now, right? So mathematically it's a bit weird. It's like 4, isn't it, including this week, because you have to play out this week and 8 and 9 and 10, so it's like 4 more chances. Well, I suppose 3 more chances if they get knocked out here, but you see my point. Still, at the moment, there are 4 more chances for these two teams to make it to the final. Kind of smart from ESPADA, though. I really appreciate that, right? We did see them find a couple of frags. They get their hands onto an AWP, get their hands onto an AK, and rather than throwing themselves at it, they actually save those weapons into the next round. Despite it being a 4-on-3, they just, you know, play it super safe, which I respect a lot.
Finnegan, the secondary opera in towards middle. Dexter, the primary, on a ramp. And APEKS just look to get mid control, force them off catwalk. Another standard approach from APEKS. They're calling the bluff on ESPADA, saying, nah, you're not going to push long. It's whatever. You're not going to get aggressive. You don't have the utility. You don't have the round count. And just calling their bluff hard. As ESPADA will double up in mid. A catwalk explode from APEKS as it's just being a bit of a front, a bit of a fake being tossed. Getting all this utility out of these A players before they hit B, which means they won't have any nades for the retake. A clean one on Finnegan puts a lot of pressure on Dima, and he's just not up to it. And with all the utility they've baited out, they have 1 flash for retake, which means they're not going to go for it. And even if they had full utility, they still wouldn't go for this scriv. But that's so smart from APEKS. Slow default, bleed them out of utility, little bit of a quick fake towards Cat, bait out even more utility, and immediately hit B with no hesitation. Just simplistic Counter-Strike from APEKS, and ESPADA are taking the bait, hook, line, and sinker every time.
Yeah, playing the fundamentals. I think this is something, again, this team does so well. They have really, really good basic team play. So if things continue like this, APEKS should be able to walk away with this one. They're on the hunt as well. Straight past Dexter, but still. Pressure on the remaining CTs to survive. Very light pressure. There's only 1 player able to make it to them. And as you saw, he walked straight past Dexter, but all the same. ESPADA really feeling the burn in these final few rounds. Unless they're able to turn things around. Double up setup is definitely a way to do that. It's not going to be easy. APEKS are on a tear. They look so scary. Only... I want to say, have they picked up a round or actually not? I'm trying to think. It was an 8-7 finish in favor of ESPADA. So yeah, they haven't picked up a round yet. Maybe this will be the first. Finnegan does manage to find the opener. Able to be, drop away, survive a little while longer. A nice clean opener for ESPADA. That's what they've been looking for.
It's been a struggle to get that, hasn't it? It's always kind of had an answer from APEKS. As of late, it's been oh so difficult to find those clean ones. Find those guaranteed, right? And Finnegan with a secondary op, just postured up towards the backside of B. Gonna need some good utility to flush him out. Or a running one tap from Dennis. Absurd. Dima alone on site was considered a one and done, but he sprays two. And a third from Dima before the molly claims his life. Wow. They needed someone to step up, and it's Dima this time around. Dennis picks up the little bit of utility his teammates left. Gonna force the plant because the money is always nice to have. But this can't happen from Dennis. It shouldn't, Scriv.
No, unfortunately not. ESPADA will get their first round of this second half. Double up, set up the change. Not really needed all that much. I think Finnegan did find one with his, but Patsy not chiming in. Also interesting to see that it was not Dexter on the AWP. He does eventually get one. Yeah, certainly Dima being the hero. Destroys them. Absolutely destroys them. But APEKS, so much room to work with, so much cash to work with, and they still have the timeouts. Love this. Lose their first round. It's a fairly clean one from ESPADA. And they're straight in there with a timeout. No messing about from APEKS. As they look to get the return round and just crush the economy and probably win the game. If they get this one and kill everybody, they can probably take the game off the back of it, I think.
Yeah, they're really close. The one scary thing for me is Sophic and Dexter, like, could get the ops out, come next rifle again. So they're not out of the woodwork when it comes to that. But I agree. What a really cool, well-paused timeout there from APEKS. Shooting the gun over to Marcelli so he can take a mid-peek. And it's worth. He tags up on Dima. So damage early onto the B player. The man that cut you down oh so easily last round. But Dexter is not messing about. Another pick towards top mid. That's twice in a row. The first pick from ESPADA has come towards top mid. I told you they like that mid aggression. They enjoy fighting off of catwalk. And that's been their bread and butter for the last couple rounds now.
APEKS are going to have to read into that fact. Another attempt at B while already being a man down. And the scariest member in the form of Dima ever present on that B bomb site. Finnegan in quick toe. Oh, almost able to get the second, but not quite. And Dima is completely caught off guard. What's happened there? Communication doesn't come in. Uh-oh. Still a man advantage. They will be able to get the bomb down here, and they have full control of B, at least for the time being. Double AWP on the retake. There are some question marks here. It's not a surefire round for ESPADA. They also have very little information to work with having, you know, that very little presence. However, Akez jumps the gun a bit early. Truth jumps the gun at the perfect time. Dexter does trade him back, but Patsy on the flank will finish things off. They bring it close, but ESPADA off the back of the individual to open that round will find themselves the 10th, closing the gap ever close to getting 13. We'll see. We'll see. I mean, looking across at the APEKS economy there, Not solid. They're getting their bomb plants and whatnot, but they just don't have the loss bonus stacked up. So I would imagine a half buy coming in. Maybe we see a hero AK from Truth. Not even that. So really safe stuff here from the T side.
They're getting these opening picks now, our ESPADA. From this man. A leg shot with an nade follow-up secures APEKS. And he's just going to fall all the way back to site. They're not able to give good, fair chase. Utility from ESPADA is going to separate the team and really hamper the only thing that they had going for them on a round like this. And speed. Violence. Getting to the site, Scriff. And now they're getting shipped down by these nades. They're going to do a little bit of a glued together catwalk explode, trying to limit what Dexter can do. That smoke's gonna hamper him, but Sophics coming through. He'll play into barrels, double in for the man. Dexter goes high with the help of the car, and that just will be that. ESPADA clawing back, doing exactly what APEKS tried to do on Mirage. One round at a time, build that money, work these opening picks, and Dexter and Dima, kind of those two unstoppable forces right now.
Yeah, really scary. Really, really scary. APEKS are going to have to deal with them sooner rather than later. The boost up coming in from Dexter here. No one looking to fight it. No AWP actually for APEKS, so a bit of a different approach. And the longer they stick here, yeah, I was going to say, the longer they stick here, the less kind of movement and control that they have. The A-bomb site looks ever so slightly vulnerable with going for something like that. It's all good in the end. I mean, APEKS, there's no way they could have known to go for a speedy short hit or whatever. We're just sending utility out at the moment, Keith. Not an awful lot.
Yeah, not a lot. It's kind of putting out the prods. They've opened the skyboxes, by the way, again, from all the way. It's an old thing, but not a lot of teams take advantage of it. CT1 teams do it. Back outside near long doors, they open the skybox from there all the way up till catwalk. So you can throw like catwalk smokes and flashes and mollies from basically T-spawn to cat. We just saw a flat pop flash from there. Something cool that a lot of teams don't take advantage of, but it's certainly something that you can. And this time, without getting picked on, I think this is going to be a bit of a front, however. It's going to be a bit of a fake. They'll commit Gruss, who could probably just jump down into CT spawn if he wishes. And I think that's his long-term goal after creeping out. Gonna just try to work it, maybe find Dexter, not fall to him, just be a nuisance. Keep these players honest, find Sophic and CT. The outside door player in Finnegan, though, only getting picked by one. APEKS grouping up. Dima's pressure can even do a wonderful hold again, not this time. And with Dexter dropping the op for the M4, that tells me this is go time.
Marcelius destroying Dexter as he goes for a cheeky jump peek. This could be the round where it all falls apart unless Patsy can clutch it out. And he can't. Akez creeps in, drops him. 14th for APEKS comes in. ESPADA can buy. They can fight back. They can, you know, try and answer to keep them at bay and to keep them away from 15 for as long as possible. But a key round coming in, and that jumping peak, although it seems a little trivial, a little quick, a little safe even, ends up costing Dexter in a big way and ends up costing ESPADA in a big way. Here we are into round number 28. APEKS looking pretty damn solid. 26, sorry, I was going to say. I didn't think my maths was correct. Nonetheless, oh, should have been a double for Gruss. Not going to be the case, Keith. Into a 4-on-4 very early on.
Oh, Sotfic gets the damage, but not the kill he was hoping for. He's at least gotten that control and knows he's dealt some damage. Dima and Sotfic making a play now. Off of Cat, into lower tunnels. Dennis hears it coming. How's the crosshair placement from Sotfic? They're both looking the wrong way. The awkward song and dance now commencing. Finnegan's pushed through tunnels into the pinch they needed. And now Apex's hand is hard pressed to go up Cat. They know 2 players are in lower B tunnels, which means Cat should be weak, but Dima stands tall with 1 and the spray onto 2. They take him out of B and it'll work wonders towards Catwalk. And it's AKES, 45 seconds, 25 HP, a smoke and a molly, and a bit of a dream.
A bit of a dream. Oh, 3 HP. Finnegan will drop him. ESPADA's straight back in. No bomb plant. APEKS gonna have to take this round on the chin. So ESPADA's certainly making them work for it. We'll see here. Not over just yet. And another timeout coming in from APEKS once again. A great amount of composure here from the T side. Time will tell. A little bit bought up here, Keith, but not an awful lot, right? Just looking to maybe get one of those useful bomb plant things. See whether they are able to string them together or not. ESPADA, meanwhile. Oh, I don't know, one more rifle round, man, you know? It's certainly snatchable at the tail end here.
What a big trade for Marcelius to find. Gonna give them a bit of peace of mind in towards mid. Trading out typically favors the T's, spreads the defense 2-2. And it seems like they're just gonna try to split on this B side. It's worked before. Can it work with these light pistols and the 1 MP9 given to him? Marcelius keeping it, in fact. Not gonna give it to someone with armor. Fair play. And Dima going to be tested. I feel like I've said that time and time again, but he's always up to the task. Finnegan, easy one on Dennis. Here comes the last line of attack for APEKS, and it's getting cut down. Dima always stands tall on this B site. I'll make sure those pistols will not deal the damage that they're intended to. And now they're within 1.
All to play for, as both teams have been absolutely crushing it here on Dust 2. APEKS, it was what, 14-8, 13-8, I think. They hadn't dropped around, and once ESPADA were finally able to get a foot in the door, they've continued to creak it wider and wider and wider, and soon they may well, you know, throw APEKS out of the house and just take that semi-final spot away from them. There's been a nade damage coming in. Patsy does need to be careful playing the anti-flash as Sotfik is homey to hold things down from rail. Once again, another slow start to the round. No one wants to be making the mistake on either side of the equation. It looks like a mid to B split, which, with the amount of pressure they've been putting on short, the CTs might not be ready for this. Oh, and as smoke goes down into tunnels, this always makes us worry. Are they going to charge through that to their demise? That is the real question. Sotfik, oh, perfectly timed frag. Drops that smoke in an awkward spot. It's not going to help Dennis at all, as he has to hide away and hope that the CT gets a bit too giddy. And, well, he might just, but no. Sotfik takes him down. Perfectly well-read situation. ESPADA set for their 14th, unless...
Wow.
The B hit is successful from APEKS.
Yeah, that's a big if. Dima has been a rock. Can Finnegan even just get 1? Yeah, that's all he has to do. And Dima will do the cleanup, and Dima with 2. 14-14 of Spada. 1 round at a time. CT economy is flourishing. They've tied the game, and APEKS are right back down to those pistols that they have dreaded. They're going to have to do something. You're going to be playing for overtime, sure. But Truth buys an AK? Oh, that came before the pause. I don't know if that's what they wanted to do. I think that might have been preemptive.
Decision not really made whether they play for the overtime or play for the win, but now it is made for them. But they are going to have to go for it. They are going to have to hope that this buy they are scrapping together is going to be good enough. It looks like it was a mistake, though. To be honest, of your second highest fragger, third highest on the server, is a bit of a whoopsie, perhaps, from him. Maybe he did indeed autopilot. We'll see. Hero AK for Gruss. Able to find one. Sotfik burns him down, however. In comes the next in the form of Dennis, who also has armor. But he's left relatively low. The task at hand is pretty monumental for this lone AK. Could go for the bomb plant, and it really does kind of bait them out on that CT side in the sense that maybe they've gone for a full buy here. All they've seen really is an AK to open up. Another one retrieved by a Kez. And they make it into the site. Truth holding things down from the top end of middle where they're all going to be coming from. Oh, Dima bailing out Finnegan. That is a massive frag to be finding. You know, if he'd have evened things up or found them an advantage, could have been solid, but it's not going to be the case. And now the retake is on. It looks real tough for APEKS to stay alive.
Yeah, they need someone to step up here, and it's Akez. Who else? But he only gets the one. Marcelius with the Deagle, no armor. AK picked up. Deagle off the mark, and that's 15 for ESPADA. Match, series, point. How painful for APEKS would this be, Scriv? ESPADA have been running it back. APEKS at least get a fight for OT with a full buy. But man, ESPADA are looking so dialed in, Scriv. Turn it up to 11, most literally.
Hell yeah. Another timeout. I mean, APEKS using all of them. Why not, right? Like, your tournament life on the line. This should have honestly been over by now. Really big turnaround coming in from ESPADA. Kinda crazy. Here's what we're here for. We thought that Dust 2 would be this super close affair. Kind of looked like it wasn't going to be a super close affair. APEKS were wiping the floor with ESPADA, but the Russian squad really turning things upside down, proving why they are the favorites overall in this series. But APEKS, no matter how it goes, whether we go to the overtime or not, I think certainly can walk away with their heads held high. Always underestimating this side, and they continue to deliver speed, but no violence. They'll drop back as the opportunity does not present itself. Oh, it does it short. Dexter misses the flick. Has to give up control early on.
Double up for Finnegan and Dexter. Marcelius as he creeps on up. Catwalk. He's going to be looking for some sort of pick for the APEKS side. A nade is all Dennis will find, but he'll set up his smoke regardless. And through the smoke. Oh, Gruss not lucky. And he's a big player on APEKS. What a player to find. This, again, is going to be the fake to be hit. A spot I've seen this time and time again. I wonder if this is what they're going to expect.
The $1 million question. Finnegan with a great angle here. Oh, he's a little trapped, though. He has to fight his way out. They will close him down. All going to be onto Dima, who's got pressure coming in from both sides. He can't get it done. It's Sotfik, though, from the back end. Finds two. Loses his teammate. Dennis must find this frag, and he can't. He is dropped. Truth is trapped in the same spot that Finnegan was in. He does manage to make it away and get the bomb plant in on the site, but the clutch, the 1v2, is a monumental task. Hidden away, finds the first, able to drop back, but he can't get the second, and ESPADA have done it. 16-14. Oh my goodness, all the way down to the wire. All 30 rounds required. The CTs